What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Who Wants Smoke. I am your host, Gio Milian, joined here, as always, by my co-host, the one, the only, All-American himself, Amon Richards. Amon, I'm liking the new look, the cut. We're back. The people have asked. When you ask, you shall receive. There's a lot of preparation that went into this to bring this back, but brought back by very popular demand. There's a lot of people asking for it, so got a whole bunch of things in place to do it. This is now a very regular thing. You're going to see this all the time again. I know people have been asking him on. They've been asking me, when are you guys going to do it again? We love the show. It's a regular thing now. Don't worry. It's back.
Yeah, now we back, man. Life, got a lot. We working, as everyone know, I got college hunks, trying to get that thing rolling, so if finally the timing is right, so we gonna hit this thing hard. We right back where we left off. One of the best in the business. We gonna keep chopping away at this thing, man. Let's get it.
So Amon, I see a whole bunch of regulars coming back here. People commenting. Comments are going crazy right now. Just kind of surprise people. No announcement. Just shadow dropped it. But brother, we've been through spring for about 2 weeks now. 2 weeks tomorrow, but plenty of buzz coming out of it. Plenty of good things I'm hearing on Darian Mensah, things from the wide receiver room, the defensive backs. A lot of good on some guys making a jump on the defensive line. And everyone's biggest question of the offseason, what's going to happen with the O-line? Like, who's going to start where? And good things we're hearing on that as well. So we're going to get into it in just a second. But, man, just your thoughts, quick thoughts and impressions of just what you've seen so far with spring.
I mean, I'm really impressed, and it's really a few things, right? The main thing I'm seeing is just the depth overall of the team, right? In years past, you look, the starters, right? You see some guys with some talent, right? Backups is where it gets tricky, a lot of mistakes, not really that many splash plays, I feel like. Well, what I'm seeing now is legitimately the second team guys could literally start. Like, especially at receiver, at DB, those are guys that in years past will probably start on our team, but unfortunately they can't because of who's in front of them, right? That's the first thing I noticed out the gate. The competition level is always at a high, right? The way Mario runs practice, it's very physical, up tempo. Guys are getting after it, but they're keeping it clean, right? I'm not seeing any guys, doing some weird stuff after the play, trying to hurt each other. It's good, healthy competition. They're chopping away, they're talking smack. And I just think the energy, it feels like a real bond. I think last year they got a taste of what it felt like to get to that game. And unfortunately, we fell short. But in my opinion, I think they're using it as real motivation. I don't see it as a team that's like, yeah, we made it to the Natty last year. Pat us on the back. Congrats. Like, we're going to live off that. I see a team that's like, hey, we got a taste of it, but we want it all this year. And the way they're preparing and practicing so far has been up to that standard. Obviously, there's a lot of room to improve, but, spring ball, we got QB1, really all the coaches are intact. The players are here. So, I mean, the team we're seeing is not like we got to wait for like another window, right? We need to fill this position because we don't have that yet. We got to wait till after spring. And then, I think what you see now is what you're going to get. And what I'm seeing, I like a lot.
Yeah, so no complacency taking place within the building or on Green Tree. I want to mention this because it's been one of my hot takes, and I've thought this since Darian Mensah finally officially signed with Miami after we got over the whole hurdle with the transfer situation and legalities and just all that back and forth nonsense that really was never going to hold up in the first place. But I've said this a few times now on some other recent shows that I feel that Miami could be more explosive in the passing game this year with Mensah at quarterback. And I think it goes hand in hand with one of the returning guys on the roster and his specific skill set, and a couple of guys that they've added as well. My opinion, I think they can get more explosive. Has to do just team speed overall at the receiver position. I think Miami's made a jump with that from last year to this. And it's not to say the receiver group wasn't really good last year. They were.
Yeah.
I think that's just the one gripe, like objectively looking at it, that I kind of felt that, hey, that's something they could improve on going into the next season. I
Yeah.
think it's going to happen. I've even said the hot take myself that because a lot of people compared Darian Mensah with Cam Ward, and I get it. People
Mhm.
would jump to the conclusion. They'll say, "Man, like Cam Ward is special, and this guy, and everything." I think both are a little different in their ways. To me, I think Cam Ward, from what I've seen on the tape, and then watching up close,
Yeah.
I think Cam Ward was able to improvise more. I
Mhm.
think as a just unique, it's an innate ability that he has. I don't think that's something you can necessarily teach per se.
Yeah.
And then Darian Mensah, some people kind of like try to get me to push back on this, but I think he will give Miami a better deep passing game than even Cam Ward gave Miami. I think Darian Mensah is much more accurate down the field than even Cam Ward was. They're not a
Yeah.
one for one. I think they have different traits, but I could see Miami being really explosive, and statistical backing up on this as well. Darian Mensah was the most successful quarterback last season in the Power Four in terms of 20+ yard passes down the field.
Yeah. And you can see it like watching him in person. To your point, if you were to watch, like look at him just body wise and just the mannerisms, you would literally think he's Cam Ward. But in my opinion, I feel like he's almost like your safer version. As we know, Cam Ward, like you just never know. It's like a wild card, right? He
Yeah.
may roll out, throw an interception, right, or something. And it was always like that high risk, high reward type of factor. I feel like Mensah still has a little bit of that escapability, except I think he plays it a little bit more safer, right? He's not crossbody throwing, from what I've seen so far, he's not throwing cross bodies or jogging out of bounds, doing the little things Cam's doing, right? Picking at the defense. He's just taking what they give him. He's accurate as it almost gets boring watching him throw the ball sometimes because it's not going to be the flashiest thing you've ever seen. It's just on point, on point, on time, like to the point, no wasted motions. He's just trying to make the play. Not like the cute looking play. He's making the play. So that's the difference I've seen so far. As far as like attitude, right? I think he has a little bit of dog in him for sure. He's not as vocal as Cam Ward as far as like yapping at the defense and that type of stuff, which is great. He's just more your quiet assassin. But the team so far that I've seen, they're rally around him. At receiver, I know you touched on a receiver a little bit. To your point, man, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I think we may have from top to bottom, right? And just hear what I'm saying, from top to the worst player you can say that's at receiver. I think we may have the most talented receiving room we may have ever had, arguably, at Miami, and at least in the last 10 years, at least for sure. Now we're going to talk about the GOATs and all the legends with Michael Irvin, and then we can debate that. But from what I've seen in my own two eyes, bro, I haven't seen a room this deep in Miami in I don't know how long. Like legitimately, the backups, all three of them, if you want to go from X, Y to Z, they could literally start on years teams like before this. You know what I'm saying? So it's exciting stuff, man. And this is not me hyping. If people know, you guys watch the show, I came on here last year. I was like, dang, bro, our team, like, I haven't seen a team like this in a long time. Like, people had questions about the defense. I came on here and told you guys, like, look, we're going to be good on defense. Like, they're flying around a lot of different looks. So I think I know what I'm looking at. And I think I see a team that's like very well fit, honestly.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And just from some of the things I've seen and then the feedback I've gotten to, and I've said this since the very first weekend, Joshua Moore, I hope he continues on like this trajectory he's on right now, because if he does,
Yeah.
he's absolutely going to be a guy this year. Like there's as long as he continues, because someone could have a really good spring or whatever, any type of variable can come into play. But if he continues on the path he's currently on, just consistency, that was the biggest thing I talked about heading into spring. Was it's like people always said, like, hey, is Josh Moore going to make that jump? He's going to make that jump. Is he going to do it? The consistency is there.
Yeah.
It's there right now. And that was the biggest thing that probably held him back from playing more last year. Like, you saw like some of the flashes, but still needed to refine his route running a bit. There's just little things and he's doing those little things now. And I think that should have people excited about, you have a Malachi Tony returning, and then you have Joshua Moore that everyone kind of already knows the potential that's there, but to realize it is really big. And I think you couple that with the group like Cooper Barkate, like Aman. I'm sure you're going to agree with this because there was some discourse from Miami fans before spring. They said, "Oh, is this guy fast enough?" Or "How about his athleticism?" I'm not worried about that. Maybe you'll like this comparison. I've thrown this out. He reminds me a little bit of I don't want to say one for one, but a lot of shades of a Eric Decker. Eric Decker, who played for the Minnesota Golden Gophers and for the Denver Broncos.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's a good good one for sure. Like I said, Barcase, I think people think he's, for whatever reason, like 6 foot or 5'11", bro. He's 6'2", 200 plus pounds. Like he's built
through contact.
So, yeah, you're not gonna see like some like ultra quick guy, but anyone that has seen practice and like you see a guy that can get open, he's crafty, and he's gonna make the play. It's not the flashiest thing you've ever seen, but he's very consistent. He's gonna get open. Make the catch, things of that nature. So I think he's like almost like your Restrepo, but like a bigger outside version. Get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But to your point, Josh Moore, I mean, look, I know he's been out there the last practice I went to, but just the way the body type, like I know last year we talked about if he grew into his body and get stronger and stuff, but man, he looks very smooth in his routes, in and out of his breaks. He's attacking the football at the highest point, making contested catches. I mean, he's just growing like before, I guess, my eyes and everyone else's eyes. So if he continues his path, man, I'm excited to see. I would say this as well. Josh Moore may be the most talented player on the team, not named Malachi Tony. Legitimately. Like ceiling and upside, he's up there for sure. Like he's fine. Like you can see the confidence in just the way he runs his routes, the way he walks around, interacts, talk. You just see the confidence. And I think the light turned on. And obviously he was a freshman, right? Everyone's not just day one ready like that. It may take a year to get comfortable in the system and know the offense, right? You got to remember these guys in high schools, like how many high schools are really teaching guys like breaking down the defense and knowing your assignment? Like, I mean, especially when you're the best player on the team, coaches aren't really holding you accountable, making sure, you're doing the right things over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, man, he looks like he's being a leader from what I've heard. He's taking the lead as well in the receiving room, along with guys like Mally, and being more vocal and, helping guys, take notes and, things of that nature. So it just seems like, man, it's clicked. He's ready to take that next level. And maybe it is bringing in competition at the position to push guys, to take that next step, So I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing to me, I think Miami can attack from all three levels of the field in terms of the passing game this year.
Mm-hmm.
Deep, intermediate. I think intermediate, especially between guys like Malachi Tony and Cooper Barkate. Oh my God, that is a matchup nightmare for any defense, and especially the chemistry there. And already the chemistry is pretty good between Darian Mensah and a few guys already on the team. Like one guy that kind of caught me by surprise. I mean, not so much like how fast he was, but how quickly they got on the same page. Darian Mensah and Vendrevious Jacobs. I think he's a fan favorite. I think he's going to be a fan favorite. Like, I don't know if he'll start or not, but he's going to play a lot. He's going to have a role, like a significant one. And I think fans are going to love him for the fact that he's just so explosive. And it's not just, he's not a simple, like just a go route type of guy. Like he could play in the quick game too. Yeah.
He's running intermediate routes, hitches, comebacks. I mean, at least on day one when I went out there, like that was the first thing I noticed. I was like, yo, this guy's not just like a straight line burner, but don't get it twisted. He's even, he's leaving. That's all I know. If he's even with you're even with him, he's gone. He can fly, he can stop on a dime. I think, like I said, it's just like it brings that explosiveness to the offense. And I think, the fan base, he will be someone that the guys are excited about. I think he's your yak guy, your averaging maybe 16, 17 yards a catch type of guy. Like may come in, he may not be, let's say a 60 reception type receiver, but he may give you 40 catches. That's going to be very like explosive down the field, right? Catch a hitch, make a guy miss. Yeah, man, he's very fast. That was one of the ones that did surprise me as well.
Samarian Wingo is another that, I mean, this guy, he's ahead of schedule. Absolutely. And just physically, how he looks, how he approaches the game as well. I actually have an order that just arrived here. Amon, touch on that subject. Yeah. I'm literally going to be right back.
Yeah, no, you're good. So, yeah, now Wingo, man, I remember when he was, if anyone in here knows, he was like a Florida lean at one point. And I remember I like saw like a few of his highlight tapes, his high school tape. And I was like, whatever, he a Florida lean, whatever. But I was like, he do remind me of CeeDee Lamb though, low key. And I mean, so far, man, yeah, all the hype and stuff, like from what I've seen with my own two eyes, yeah, man, he's a really good player, really good eval. He's explosive as well, really great routes. Like, I mean, he's one of those sharp route runners. Kind of like almost Stacy Coley, but like, you know what I'm saying? If you guys, tuning in, like he gives me that Stacy Coley kind of like route running vibes where it's like clean, it's smooth, it looks easy, really good hands. He's a competitor as well. I've seen him make a lot of contested catches, which is really, I look at the contested catches like as a really big thing, especially at the college level, because it's not that often that you're going to just run by everybody, so if you're able to make that 50-50 catch, I rate that pretty high, like my scale when I'm looking at things. And he's a guy that I've seen consistently can make that 50-50 catch, so hey, like I said, he's a guy that if it weren't the guys ahead of him, he would be a starter day one. Could he start day one? Yes. Everyone's competing, at the position. Everyone's competing for reps. Whether you're a backup, you may be with the twos, you're still competing for them reps, because I do think and I do believe that there is going to be some type of rotation at receiver. And I think it's going to run deep. I think you're going to see a lot of guys on the field. I think that the offense will be a little bit more up tempo. I think you got a guy like Mensah that can be like your gunslinger, extend plays, control the offense. Obviously, knock on wood, he's not coming off like, obviously like a Beck injury, right, where he's still kind of recovering a little bit and trying to get accustomed to it through the season. So, yeah, man, Wingo, man, get back on Wingo. I mean, really good talent, really good eval. I mean, Milan Paris is another guy that is improving from the first practice I saw to the one I went to on Saturday. I'm seeing, him get a little bit more comfortable. He's attacking the ball at the highest level. He made a play in one-on-ones, man. I mean, he went up and I mean, Judd threw it as high as he can. I think it was Judd. He threw it as high as he can, and he went up and snagged it. There was another one where, I mean, I'm not going to say who got Moss and all that, but I mean, it was like that Julio play. You ever seen the Julio play against the Patriots? And it was like smoky. Yeah. He caught in the red zone like Malcolm Butler. He like ripped it out. It was some shit like that. Put it like he did some, like Buddy had the interception and he just long arms over him and just for a touchdown. I said, oh my God. So what else? Yeah. So my point is that like those young guys, man, like they're getting comfortable. Coach KB is doing a really good job with them. Cam Vaughn, someone mentioned Cam Vaughn. He's like your consistent player, and you can tell he's kind of been around a little while because, he's very comfortable out there during practice. He's making a lot of catches over the middle. So it's just like, I mean, it's just like pick who you want to start. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure if I'm KB, right, I'm like this. I'm on the sideline. When it's time to sub, I'm just grabbing one of them. It don't even matter. It really don't matter. Just grab someone from behind you and just throw them. I guarantee you they're going to go out there and make the play. Like, that's what I feel like we have, So someone said, is there going to be 4 wide receivers, in the spread or whatever? I wouldn't be surprised. From what I've seen so far, I haven't seen that, right? Obviously, a spring practice is, they're not going to dive into like their bag like that in the spring practice, but I will be shocked if I don't see like a full wide receiver set. If I don't see, 4 elite guys out there at one time and we pushing the ball down the field, I would be shocked.
I'm just excited about the group overall. Just the factor of explosiveness, the difference in skill set that's in that room,
Mhm.
the size as well. Amon, I can't recall the last time I saw Miami had this many guys that were 6'2" and above throughout the whole room. Obviously, you got guys like Malachi Tony and oh my goodness, I'm forgetting about this guy now, Vance Spafford, who I
Yeah.
like. I think he's going to be a guy at some point.
Mhm.
Maybe it's not this year, but there's definitely been some flashes along the way.
And-
That room is just it's so diverse, and just the
Yeah.
skill set that they have. To me, it's a no-brainer. I think the group is better than it was even last year.
Yeah, 100%, like 1,000%. And it's crazier. Mally looks even better than last year. like I know no one even is mentioning him because it's so consistent at this point where it's not even worth bringing up. It's not even a shocker. Like Buddy looks stronger. He looks more explosive. I mean, he looks even more comfortable in the offense. You know, I mean, Mensa's getting him the rock over the middle. So, I mean, I don't know what to say, man. I'm just gonna wait, obviously, for the games when you guys see it for yourselves. I know a lot of people don't go to practice and they don't, they're just going off what we're saying. But you gotta trust me, like that receiver core is like goons, top to bottom, like for real, for real.
My hot take on Milan Paris.
Yeah,
I don't think it's necessarily going to be this. Like, there'll probably be a flash play here or there.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to be one of those guys that's a year two guy. That his second year that he's really going to take off. But if anyone who's been to practice, you can absolutely see it. Like it's there.
Yeah, for sure.
Just needs a little refinement, but it's absolutely there.
Yeah, remember Mario's practice, and I give these young guys credit because Mario's practices are very hard, especially for a young guy coming in who's never practiced at that type of level before with that intensity where there's damn near no like real breaks in between these periods. Guys are going from one drill straight to the next, and it's like full speed, like they're going after it. So I salute the young guys because I just think back to myself just being a freshman and like that first week of like practice, like, or you're tired out there. So a lot of this stuff is guys are fatigued. So a lot of mistakes or drops or whatever, it's like more so fatigue. Guys are just, it's hot, they're tired, so you're gonna have those mental mistakes, but you keep chopping away. When we get to like summer, fall camp, they'll be like conditioned better as far as like practice condition. And I think we'll see that improvement. To your point, Milan Paris, yeah, I can see him being like year two, being bigger, stronger, faster. I mean, he's already like 6'6", so that part is there. Is just adding on that weight and size and playing big, which he is so far. So so far so good, man. I literally have no complaints at all.
I'm just curious how they figure out that rotation, though, man. That it's a luxury to have, but what a heck of a job to figure out your pecking order there. Because I mean, between Malachi Tony, Joshua Moore, Cooper Kate, Vandrevius Jacobs,
right,
Cam Vaughn, Samorian Wingo. I didn't even talk about Dalen Upshaw. Dalen Upshaw can play too.
I was going to mention he's been inside and out as well. From what I've seen, he's getting some reps at slot. He's outside as well. I mean, he's really smooth. I know he had that leg injury, but his route running and everything, it's just he has a smooth demeanor about him. Like everything is like smooth and easy. So I mean, that's another.
He reminds me of at least when I watched him coming out of the high school that he played at Phoenix Central in Alabama. Reminded me a bit of like Jacoby George, but I would just bigger because Jacoby George was
size on him for sure. Yeah, he got more size on him. Yeah, no, that's not bad. I think Dre Jacobs remind me of Jacoby George as well, but just faster, like a faster version of Jacoby. But they have like the slimmer body type, but Jacobs can actually he can run for real. So
just exciting, man.
Yeah.
I want to see more from that competition, man, because it's there's no way they're going to have it figured out right now because there's too many guys making plays right now. It's going to be a consistency thing from now till fall camp till they really decide like, okay, who are we rolling with? Who are the 5 or 6 guys we're going to actually play in the game on a consistent basis? And I don't think that Miami's going to revert back to like I know there was a stretch last year where some fans were going crazy about this, like, oh my God, we're playing the same three receivers all the time.
Mhm.
I think Mike kind of learned about that along the way last season that, hey, you got to kind of keep a defense honest. You got to give them a different look. You can't just keep throwing the same thing at them and expecting a different result. And
Yeah.
I think they understand that. And you saw that carry into the playoffs too. I mean, Josh Moore and Dalen Upshaw, they were, well, not Upshaw because he got hurt, right, during the playoff. But Josh Moore and some of the other guys, they got reps down the stretch, like young players.
And Josh Moore scores in the natty if he don't go down on the knee. I mean, the team was not expecting him to get a screen pass. I can tell you that. Obviously, the pass was slightly low. He went down. He's a bigger guy, right? So him bending down below the knees like that was probably harder than most people think for a guy that size. But to your point, like they gave Indiana that different look, and they run a screen backside, and if he catches it, it's a touchdown. Or he caught it, but if he stays up, his knee don't hit the ground, it's a touchdown. So yeah, to your point, mixing it in, different looks, giving guys like maybe speed packages, right? A lot of fast guys on the field. Maybe you got your big guys on the field. If you go like, let's say 22 or 12 or something, right? Red zone, right? You get the bigger guys like Milan Paris, Barcade, in the game. So I think it just makes a defensive coordinator have to scout a lot more and spend a lot more time on different guys, because if you're rotating guys in, right, you don't know what's going to hit you. So exciting stuff. I know people asking about tight end and stuff as well. I didn't really get much from the tight end group yet. Lofton has, been pretty good, right? And I don't want to people going, oh, you guys said this last year, right? Obviously, injuries and stuff happen, right? Different coach. I like the body types in that room for sure, especially that freshman. I can't think of his name right now, but it's someone.
Mueller.
Yeah, he's a big body, 88.
Luka Gilbert.
Yeah, he's tall. Like I said last year as well. So let's hope he takes the next step. But a one that keeps like every practice I've been to, like this man is making catches, and I don't know why he don't play. 44, whoever that guy is.
I've been talking about that guy since last year. He is an unsung hero. I'm telling you, Owen Ruskovich. So Amon, the story behind him, he went from being a walk-on last year to earning a scholarship, and he's big. You're talking about a guy that's like 6'6", 6'7", built really well. I'm not really sure why he didn't play last year, because these glimpses, they happen the past off season before.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know, man. I
don't know what it is. Like maybe he don't know the plays or something. I don't know, but when I'm seeing
he catches the ball,
bro, he
catches the ball and he's physical.
Time. Like it could be your starting safety on him. Like even going back to last year, like he's gonna catch the football. So look, like I said, I'm not the coach. There's probably a lot more outside of just catching the ball in like 7-on-7 or 1-on-1s, right? That goes into it. But that was a guy that did I'm like, dang, this guy again, like 44, he's always making plays. So other than that, I mean, look, I got faith in the new tight end coach, get the job done. I just want to see us block better than I want to see us catch better, if that makes sense. I think we got enough weapons out wide.
I hear you.
If they're a non-factor, I'm not really too worried. But that run game just didn't, like last year, watching some of our tight ends just whiff so many times on like crack blocks, down blocks, was just very annoying. Even got Jordan Lyle hurt. I know we're not blaming anyone, right? But let's just call a spade, right? Guy missed, Jordan Lyle ankle gets rolled up. He's out damn near for the year. So I would just like to see them block better, on the edge.
That's a perfect way to segue into something I'm going to mention, because people are going to hate my guts for this, because I've been talking about it since we got into the off season and when Jordan Lyle made the decision to come back. But last thing I'll say about the tight ends, though, again, people are going to hate us for that, but yeah, Elijah Lofton, he's been steady. He's been consistent. You hope it continues to translate to the field. Yeah, some injuries last year, little up and down for him. Seemed like it got better towards the end of the season. I hope that it all translates this year. There's been situations like that before in the past. People forget the year before Jacoby George broke out at Miami, he was having an insane spring during his sophomore year. Ends up this off-field incident, breaks his hand the first game he's back. Just terrible luck. But the very next year, he took off, him and Restrepo. So sometimes maybe a guy you heard about the year before, it didn't happen on the field that exact year, but it doesn't mean that like you toss him to the trash and say, oh, forget him, he sucks or whatever. Like, I know fans can be really critical like that. But one guy in particular, though, Jordan Lyles had a really good start.
Yeah, for sure.
Through 2 weeks. He's healthy. So many people dogged this kid. Like, and it kind of boggles my mind, Amon, because
I'm
trying to corral people back into the Jordan Lyles train before it takes off.
Yeah.
Again.
He looks explosive again. Like
it wasn't like that they just gave out a freebie like, hey, Jordan, you want to start this week against Notre Dame? No. Like I said on this very same show, actually, leading into that game, I said, hey, I've been hearing Jordan Lyles been having a phenomenal week of practice heading into the Notre Dame game.
Yeah. Yeah, nah, he was I mean, I just think back to some of the runs I saw him break out last year, like at practice. And yeah, outside of, that missed block that rolled up his ankle, and I think it was a high ankle sprain, whatever it was. Yeah. I mean, he was just never the same, obviously, last year.
They shut him down in the middle of the season.
Yeah, I mean, it's just hard to play on like a ankle sprain like that, especially the type of running back he is. Like he's very he cuts off one leg, right? He's powerful. So it makes sense. But this year, what I've seen so far, man, I mean, he's got his legs underneath him for sure. He has some pretty good runs, but I mean, like I keep saying, man, we're just deep. Like think about it, he's a starting running back on a lot of teams. Like, and we're arguably saying if he's gonna start or not. Is it Mark? Is it him? Who was right? And it's like
put it this way: there are SEC teams that have tried to come after him.
100%.
Not just 1 year, consecutive years, and he's made the decision to stay.
And that's why I respect guys like that, because it's easy to, go get a change of scenery, as they say, right? But it's harder to stay put, even when your own fan base is kind of getting on you, right? And let's be real, right? Guys, like our fan base, they get on guys because they're excited. They just so excited to see this guy live up to that expectation that they almost can't wait, right? So it's like, all right, look, forget this guy, man. He's always hurt, like whatever the case may be. But, a guy like him, I can tell he's mentally strong, right? He stayed put, didn't go chase the bag somewhere else, and probably easily start, right? He's in a competition with him and Fletcher and Marty Brown and number 0, what's his name again? Pringle and all them. So I respect that. And I think that tells me a lot about the character and his willingness to compete, and I think competition brings the best out of guys. And I think it wouldn't surprise me. He has a really big year this year for us. So
wouldn't shock me at all. Hop on the train now, people who tried to say him. He's gonna leave.
Hey Gio, I don't want to switch gears so fast, but I gotta get to it. Left tackle Jackson Cantwell.
Oh yeah.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna just go ahead and be the first one to say it. He definitely starting week 1. Listen, I haven't seen a guy that big move the way he can move like ever. I was at practice that first day, and it was, mind you, the pads weren't really on or whatever, but his movements, like I've seen guys try to speed rush him, Lightfoot try to get him on a speed rush, but he is very agile, which shocked me because when you see his size and just his demeanor, he don't strike you as a guy that can really run and move. He looks like one of those like slow big guys. You get what I'm trying to say? But
it's funny that you say that. I remember hearing from several Miami fans, even in group chats, people are saying, oh, I don't know, I think he's going to suck with speed rushers because he looks slow. Like people are saying, he looks slow. I'm like, he's not slow. Like this is a really good athlete.
He can move. He can move for sure. So that was one thing that stuck out. I'm like, damn, that guy can move for that size, So, but overall, like the offensive line, I know people had question marks. Will they be better than last year? I don't really think it's about being better than last year. I think it's about being better this year. That's how I see it. I think with Mints at quarterback, he gives you that mobility where if something does break down, the play's not just cooked, right? I think he's a guy that can escape and help the offensive line out by being a guy that's a dual threat. I ain't gonna say dual threat, but let's just
Would
say
you say would you say it's a stretch to say this? This is my opinion, but I think Mensa fits Miami's offense more than Carson Beck did.
100%. It ain't. Yeah, it ain't even close. When I see Mensa like in Dawson's offense, just the plays, the type of style we play with, it's like a glove, a perfect glove. Beck, I think you've heard me. I've been more on the Beck train than really anyone.
Yeah.
Like I think Beck, we had to cater the offense to his style of play, which I'm not saying pro style and air raid is so different as far as like the type of route combinations, but I just think we're trying to fit what he does better than what the offense does better. You get what I'm trying to say? And obviously him coming off that injury, you know, if you think about, let's say, Louisville game, right? I know people love talking about it for the reason, obvious reasons. We lost and he threw a lot of picks. We're trying to push it downfield, but he just didn't have that gun in, he didn't have that gun in him, maybe in his head he thought he had it, but when the ball come out, right, it's floating, right, and things of that nature. When you see Mensa throw, it's a lot more line drive-ish. It's not as rainbow.
Like an arc.
Yeah, it don't have that big like arc, like you're throwing a grenade or something. Just being honest, so I think that's a different. I think, yeah, to your point, Mensa definitely fits his offense. Like it's almost like a copy paste of Cam Moore, just without like the aggression and attitude. But Mensa a killer though. He gonna like look at you probably with a straight face and just dice you up. But he not gonna be yapping and pointing at you. And the fun stuff Cam,
the silent killer.
Yeah, he's gonna stab you without you knowing it. That's what I say.
When you put it that way. But yeah, on that subject though, about like, running back, offensive line, like I think most people know what they should expect from Mark Fletcher and everything, especially after what he showed during the playoff run. To me, one of the takeaways that's probably not discussed enough, and I know you probably have some more familiarity with this because I know people who were at West Boca, but Javian Mallory, to me at least, he looks in much better shape than he was than like coming out of high school, number one.
Yeah.
And number two, I know he's gotten some big reps during spring as well. Like, again, I'm not sure how much he's going to play this year because that room is deep. And even a guy like Shamar Brown he's reshaped his body a little bit. He's a little more lean this year. I just love the makeup of that room. And then what they're still recruiting for the upcoming class as well. Like a guy like Myson Johnson Cook. I love Myson Johnson Cook. And
that 6'2" guy, right?
I put in that pick over the weekend off some feedback I got before the pool party started. Yeah, I hope they do close that. I do expect to. I'm not sure when the timeline's going to be. He hasn't set up a date or anything like that, but just sticking on track here. I like where that running back room is headed. I still want to see more from Fabian Upshaw this year, like, just kind of see like how he coaches within game, like during game day and whatnot. But so far, so good. Like, there's no issues. There's been no hiccups. There's no rocking the boat or anything. It's just the room still is what it is, and I think better. Honestly, the fact that you're able to return Jordan Lyle, Shamar Brown, and Gerard Pringle to that room after the season Fletcher just had, and Fletcher coming back. I mean, Fabian Upshaw couldn't have come into a better situation than that.
Yeah, I mean, you have depth. You got your young guys, right? That's freshmen, and then you're recruiting like top guys again to come in and replace like the bottom part of that room. And then you got guys like Fletcher that's probably going to leave obviously next year, and Jordan Lyle being like year 3 or 4, right? 4 or 3 or whatever. Year 3, right? So it's like, I mean, yeah, the situation for him is like almost like a coach's dream. It's just up to him, or it is his hands to make sure these guys are ready on game day and somehow figure out a rotation, how to keep guys healthy, but at the same time getting them, touches and stuff like that. I don't think Fletcher this year has to be a guy that's getting 20 carries, right? Or sorry, excuse me, 15 carries. Fletcher could be at like 9, 10 carries for the game. And, with our passing attack, 9, 10 carries, and he's chopping it up with Lyle and guys like that. I mean, it's there. It's just, and if we, which I think we all anticipate, right, going back to the playoffs and stuff, we have seen that it's a long journey. So we don't need to be running guys 20 carries versus, some random school or whatever ACC play, right? I think
that room saw quite the changes even through last year. It's Jordan Lyle came in as the starter game one, got hurt, and Mark Fletcher came in twice. You saw Mark Fletcher and Shamar Brown kind of carry that room through the first several weeks, and then Mark Fletcher gets hurt. Jordan Lyle starts coming back, not really the same last year, coming back from the injury. Then Gerard Pringle comes in, gives a spark. Mark Fletcher comes back for the playoffs, and then eventually at some point, Miami needed Shamar Brown again. So exactly to your point.
Yeah.
It's a long season, especially if you go that far. You need those bodies.
Yeah.
And I don't even want to say bodies. All those guys can play.
Yeah. That's why I learned last year just watching the playoffs closely. Like, I'm like, damn, like these games are physical. Like, we're getting after it.
Look at Texas A&M. Texas A&M was missing their best back for a while. They were missing Moss for quite some time.
Yeah, trying to get him in there, and it didn't work out. He's banged up. But, like it's physical in the playoffs. You're getting after it. You're traveling, right? You're flying in this state, Arizona and Phoenix or whatever it was. And, you're back in Miami and you going to Cal Field. It's like that's a lot of moving. Then the games itself is physical as it can be. So I think, man, we can find that balance to get all these guys, at least 4 of the guys in a rotation. I obviously we got to, blow out teams and stuff like that to really crank up the rotation, especially late in games. But we handle our business, man. The room is deep.
Speaking of offensive line, going back to it, absolutely agree with you on Jackson Cantwell, and the feedback's been very positive on that aspect. I've heard good things on Matthew McCoy on the right side as well. I know some people had their concerns and reservations going into spring, like, Matthew McCoy, like, should he move to tackle or not, or whatever. Even some people threw out the idea of Samson Okunlola. I think Samson Okunlola is just purely a guard. I think Miami understands that. I think even he understands that to this point that, like, that is his true position, like, where his ceiling is the highest. But correct me if I'm wrong here, Amon. I know some people may jump at this, but I think Miami may have their line already kind of figured out already. At least the 5 that probably will play this year. I'm sure competition will continue. Obviously, you want guys to compete, but between Jackson Cantwell, Samson Okunlola, Brian Rodriguez, who has steadied the ship there at center. So many people had questions, and I said throughout the spring that don't sleep on him. Like, he's played a lot here. He knows the system. They have a lot of trust in him. Yeah. I get it. The injury concerns from the past, but he's been healthy. Max Buchanan and Matthew McCoy. Max Buchanan, I've told people this before spring. I think he's going to be a guy this year.
I've heard that as well.
I saw it like from last year, even during the spring and fall camp last year. He's gotten bigger now. He's put on more size, and just everything I'm hearing on him, that he has taken that next step. He's one of those, like, hey, maybe he didn't have the biggest impact his freshman year, but there was still buzz about him. And now he's elevated in year 2, kind of like Josh Moore, like in line with that type, that they've taken that next step, that now they're going to be much bigger contributors.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I can see that. Yeah, to your point, like, I mean, the line is, I think, pretty much like at least 4 of the positions are set, like you said, to the point. Obviously, there's still, it's, long journey, but you can kind of on paper map out what the offensive line will most likely look like for sure. Barring obviously if someone
any major injury,
guy goes down or a guy just goes crazy or something, you can kind of map it out. So I'm good at offensive line. I know people got questions about it, and obviously we don't have the CC there, but when you're replacing guys with guys, You know, it's not
Yeah.
it's not that much of a worry. And you have a mobile quarterback that can evade pressure and extend plays. So that's a huge
I
plus.
don't think anyone could complain, like within the building or even fans themselves, that you go from Francis Mauigoa to Jackson Campbell. I mean, you're
Yeah,
pretty
but
blessed as a program or even a fan yourself that when you have that type of privilege like that.
I think we're so used to just like not having these type of guys just like back to back that it's like you almost like you gotta remember
Surreal.
Francis was what the number 1 or 2 tackle coming out.
Yeah, it was like him, Sampson, and Proctor.
You know what I'm saying? So then you replace that with pretty the number 1 overall player. Like, I mean, let's just be honest. But Cantwell went to like, I don't know, LSU or something, we'd be like, damn, we would have had a starting left tackle. So let's understand who we have on our team right
Hey,
now.
some people felt that way about like when Miami was in the sweepstakes for Jordan Seaton during the transfer portal cycle.
Oh,
Like,
gosh, yeah, that would have
everyone was like, "Oh no, they lost Seaton. It's over. Our offensive line's gonna suck." And I'm like, "What's wrong with you guys? Like,
Yeah.
are you not paying attention to what Miami's been doing?"
Yeah, no, well, I tell people one thing I never question is the offensive line at Miami. Since Mario's been here, even with Tyler Van Dyke was here when Mario was here, right?
Yeah, it was a crossover about like 2 years ago.
That 2022, Tyler's here, right?
2022, he got
Yeah.
hurt that year, and then 2023 was the whole him and Emery and
Man, look, one thing I know is that we had a great wall back there. Like,
oh yeah,
and we talk about guys who, some of them aren't even in the NFL right now, but what they did at Miami, I mean, I remember watching Tyler like pat the ball like for like 4 times just with no rush. I'm like, bro, we just gotta keep stacking. So yeah, I never had a question about offensive line here. Like,
yeah, especially after that first, like the first year Mario got here. I'll say this because this was said kind of like behind closed doors back then. I'm not going to get in trouble for saying this now, but one of the first questions he had when he arrived to Miami, I heard this through people very close to the program. One of the first things he said, "We're the big guys. Like, where are the large human beings?" That's one of his favorite sayings. We're the large human beings.
Yeah.
He was like kind of like stumped. He's like, "Where are they? Like the body types." And you see it now when you go to Green Tree, like the receiver room or how the defensive line room looks now, or O-line. It's just
100%.
It looks so different. So different. But last note on offensive line, let's switch over to defense and we'll take some questions here too. But one of the nicest surprises has been Ben Compton this spring.
That's another one.
58. I was a little surprised by it because I knew like the wrestling background and everything. I thought maybe there would have been like a transition period of like maybe getting up to the speed of the game, but that hasn't been as much of an issue. He's even like had really good reps against guys that have been here for years as well. The thing with him, I had heard about it right before spring, and I mentioned it in my private board. I said, "Hey, like I'm hearing a lot of buzz of him coming into spring practice," and even it surprised me. I'm like, I wasn't really expecting that. It kind of caught me off guard, and it's true. Like even since the pads have come on as well, it's translated. It's not like a guy that was flashing in shirts and shorts and workouts, and then you got into pads and it kind of simmered down. Like he's continued to build on that. I'm excited for what Miami has at the tackle position. Like just getting Cantwell, you bring in Congdon. You've already had Jaden Wilkerson, who they're really excited about as well. You got some pieces on the interior. Like you said, Miami's offensive line is going to be fine. I think if anyone gets overly concerned about that stuff, you haven't been paying attention to what's been happening the last 3 years here.
Yeah, I think people get uncomfortable when they don't recognize like names. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I don't know this name, right? Or it wasn't a big name that they recognize easily. I think they get a little bit shaky. Like, I don't know what to expect. But if you don't trust anything, man, you can trust the offensive line, bro. Like, I don't think the offensive line has been a problem, whether it was in year 1, year 4. We get it done at that position pretty consistently. So that's not my worry. And just the type of guys we're bringing in, the body types, like, dude, I mean, that's the first thing you notice at practice. Like when they're running by you, you feel like a little human. That's all. You just feel, you don't even think you're a man sometimes. You're like, damn, bro, he's a big motherfucker. and they're getting after it, man. So, I'm happy with the offensive line. I obviously there's the question marks of what they're gonna look like on game day, but between spring, fall, like fall camp, I'm more than confident that we'll have a pretty good offensive line coming into next year, and I think we'll be excited about it as the season progresses.
I'm telling you, man. I never forget what Mario said. It was this past season in the Hard Rock tunnels, right after one of the games. All these recruits are walking by and everything. Some of us in the media are there, like waiting for coaches go to the interviews. Mm-hmm. And Mario just comes by, right? He's just walking by, and you see Jackson Cantwell walking through, and oh my God, who's the other kid? Brett College, who they really, who ended up going to USC, which was a shocker. Like,
yep.
He told Miami for a while that he really wanted to be here, but I think Miami ended up fine anyways.
Yeah.
He saw guys like that, and there was Michael Carroll. I believe his name is Michael Carroll, the kid who ended up sticking with Alabama, but he showed some interest in Miami. Mario walks by and he looks at all of us and he said, "You see the size of these dudes?" Like, he starts saying, "Large human beings." His usual like fist. Yeah, and we just all started cracking up. We're like, Mario. I think for people that haven't been able to interact with him, you just can't understand it. Like, he's a high energy guy. And he wants what's best for this program. He absolutely does.
I think people forget he's a former player. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he got that in him. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you can see, I think people like playing for him. I mean, it's not easy probably, at practice and just the demand and all that stuff. But, I mean, what would Nick Saban do, right? How much would Nick Saban have you practicing hard and, or coaches, working them hard? Like, that's just what it is. That's all you know. So, and to be honest, let's just be honest. We've got the program humming in 4 years. Hey, listen, if I would have told you
Miami's ahead of schedule.
2023 that in 2025 season, or this past season, I should say 2025 to 26, we be playing in the Natty, people will probably say, it's possible, but I gotta see it first. He gotta improve here or this and that, right? But he's done it. That's why when people keep talking about, oh, take a knee and all, I'm like, bro, year after year we've improved. He's improved. Like, no one's perfect. We understand, but we can't bring up shit from 2 years ago when we just playing the damn Natty. Like, and to be honest,
where I gotta commend Mario too, Aman. I've noticed this has been this pattern, and some people complain. They're like, "Oh, well, he could have done it in the middle of the season." Some people try to say that, but it's not exactly as easy said as done. Every time there's been an issue, whether it's defense, a specific position, or anything like that, he's always attacked it. That like very upcoming off season, and it gets addressed. Like, I remember all the complaints everyone had about the defensive backfield from the Cam Ward season. Look at what they did last year, or just all the complaints about the O-line the very first year he was here. The very next year, entirely different story. They brought in Javian Cohen, Matt Lee.
Yeah, that's the group I was talking. Yeah, they were like a
Jalen
wall.
Rivers. Yeah, he's always addressed it. So again, I get it. Fans will always have certain complaints, and I understand, rightfully so. They have their right to say what they want to say, but he's always addressed the problems. Mm-hmm. Like, any issue anyone has seen in each season, it gets addressed the next year moving forward. I think as a fan, you absolutely have to commend that. How can you be like, oh, he doesn't fix anything? That would be a lie. Yeah. It would definitely be a lie. I know some fans are upset that he doesn't do things on their timeline where, like, he won't hire a coach when they want the coach hired. But he's got a very methodical approach. Let him do his thing, because, I mean, who would have thought, Aman, after that SMU game last year, that, at that time, Miami would play in the national championship game. Everyone would have said, "You're crazy. What are you talking about?"
Yeah, they would have called us, being fans and all that. But, I mean, it was tough. But at the end of the day, that's why I respect, and just remembering, just like being in a locker room, like, you really do tune out the outside noise. A lot of people who be on Twitter yapping and all this, like, guys don't even be seeing half that shit, nor do they care, because there's a lot of season to play, right? You still got to finish. And that's why I was impressed with the guys, because they did, keep all that outside noise out. Where there's guys like we're on podcasts talking and all, like they didn't care about none of it. The only thing they did was get back to work, look themselves in the mirror, improve, and let us cheer later. And that's what we were doing, you know. A&M, we cheering our asses off. Oh, at Ohio State, you know, good question. Will we get over the hump? Right? Their fans yapping, you know, we do this every year. We're always in all, then we go and curb stomp their ass, you know, on a neutral field, by the way. So it wouldn't even, they can't say no home field advantage, right? Neutral field, you know, with their big guns, 2 first-round receivers, and we whoop that ass. Ole Miss, high-powered offense, all this other stuff. I mean, it just came down to Notre Dame, and we didn't get the job done. You know, we had too many mistakes, and it might have been a few, but it was a few too many that cost us a football game. But what I like most is that we're not living in the past, or we're not bragging that we went. We're not hanging banners about going to the Natty and losing. You know what I'm saying? Like the energy is like, nah, we should have won it last year, but we got a new team. We're reloading. Let's work to get right back and win the game and finish the job. So that's how I read the energy from the program. Just coaches, the players. That's just the energy I'm getting.
All right. So that for everyone that's here, thank you. Everyone that has stopped by late night on this Monday night, the day after Easter. I hope everyone had a great Easter. Please make sure to shop at Caneswear at Miami Fanwear, located at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, Florida. You could also find them on caneswear.com on your internet browser, or you could also download the app, Caneswear, the Caneswear app on your Apple or Google stores. There is exclusive rewards and discounts on there if you use the app, and some written content on there too. And just, again, you know, the show that I also do with Brett and everything. But we're going to rapid fire here on some defensive stuff. And I know people have been longfully waiting for this about taking some comments. I see some old regulars here and everything stopping by. But Aman, quick thoughts on the defensive line, at least from what I've heard and what I've seen. Mm-hmm. Armando Blunt and Justin Scott are 2 guys that have taken the next step this year, especially Justin Scott. From what I was hearing going into spring and some of the things I saw and what I've talked about with some people, I think Justin Scott could be a guy that could really take a big step this year. Like, you saw a lot of flashes that last half of the year, but I think that light has really come on.
He's I mean, body type wise, right? It's hard to, like, he's not hitting the quarterback or anything, right? So I'm pretty sure there's plays where it was dead, right? He probably gets a sack or disrupts the run, right? And stuff like that. So it's harder to evaluate the D tackles as far as like practice wise, just because they're a little bit limited to them finishing the play. But to the point, man, I mean, a guy like Armando Blunt, if anyone in here has seen him in person, like, I don't know if it's a TV, I don't know what it is, but he looked way smaller on TV. But if you see him in person, bro, like, he's a big dude, you know, physical, like, he has that aggression to him. He plays with that physicality as well, almost like a Bane-esque, right? Just pure power, knockback, things of that nature. So I'm excited for the D-line. Damon Wilson, right, is another speed guy, the edge. He's had some plays. You know, Lightfoot, you know, is getting back there as well. Who else? I'm trying to think who are the young guys that we got. You know, like I said,
that's really coming on. Herbert Scroggins.
Gotcha. He's 31 now or something like that.
Yeah, he switched from 35 to 31.
Okay, yeah, he's got some he's added some size to him as well. I mean, like I said, I give those guys a little bit more like slack because they can't finish at the quarterback, right? So it's hard to know, like, was that a sack? Did the quarterback really evade? You know, they let up. So, but we are getting back there, right? The room is deep as well. We got a lot of guys in that room, D tackle and more so DN. We got a lot of DNs. Jarquez Carter, right? The D tackle from Ohio State. Body type wise, like, big, you know, strong lower body, looks physical. He looks the part. So
I got a personal question. Have
you
noticed anything in particular with 97?
Yeah, matter of fact, that's another one I was going. That's the guy from Nebraska, right? Yeah. I mean, I heard he's a guy that's like high motor, physical, he's strong. So, like I said, man, I just think listen, I'm not going to come out and say that we can have a better D line and all that than last year, right? I think
I think
we
the
have,
interior can be better.
yeah, the interior. I think they take a step as far as the end. Obviously, right? You don't have a guy like let's say Ruben Bain, but in my opinion, if you scheme up the right way, in whether it's guys like speed packages or whatever the case may be, I think you still have a somewhat similar impact statistically as far as high sacks, tackles and stuff like that. Obviously, we know Bain and Mesidor, like what they were doing in the run game, as far as like even if they're not on the stat pad, like there's an impact was like some to none. But end of the day, like I said before, we still lost 2 games, even with having those 2 guys, right? So I still think there is a way where we have to make sure we scheme up right. As far as like, for example, 3rd and long, like not getting too predictable as far as like speed packages or overloading, things like that. Because teams, as we saw, they'll run against it. We saw it in the Natty, saw it versus Louisville. As like there's ways to get around it, right? When you have really good edge players, teams scheme around it. So overall, I think it's a lot more balanced. We just got to make sure we scheme up things the right way as far as like on the end, just keeping our leverage, things of that nature. But yeah, people try to make it seem like Damon Wilson was like a lazy player or he didn't want to be in the run game. But from all I've seen and heard is that he's a high motor guy who runs after the football, max effort, and usually those things translate. I mean, you don't go in the SEC, 2 different teams and have like over 10 sacks or at least this past year he had like over 10.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? Without like, you got to be a guy. You get me? So I'm excited.
You don't just trip and fall.
Yeah, you just don't. Oh, you're starting DN in the SEC for Missouri, and you have 11 sacks or whatever it was. Like that, like that's not a fluke. That just don't happen by random coincidence or something.
Yeah, I don't think necessarily like the pass will see like some massive drop off or like at least what fans may be worried about. Like, oh man, like yes, Bain and Mesidor, they are absolute dudes. There's no denying that. But I don't think there's going to be some ridiculous drop off that like you're like, oh man, like we can't live without these guys at all. Yeah. And it's funny about that because I've had this same conversation before with Brett, even on his show. And I said, like, who thought Akeem Mesidor was a 1st-round pick before this past season?
Yeah.
Like,
matter of fact,
Bain has, but like, who was really discussing Akeem Mesidor in that light? No one was before the season.
Definitely not.
I think Miami will be fine, and I think it has to do with some specific guys, like even if they don't start, but stepping up in the essence of like Herbert Scroggins and Hayden Lowe. Like those 2 guys could play, even if they don't start. I think they make Miami's room much deeper there on the edge. But linebacker. Here's the funny thing, because I know several fans will have many jokes about this. They'll say, wait a minute, Chase Smith is still here, but Chase Smith's having a really good spring. A really good spring.
He looks healthy. Like, he looks like he's actually healthy for a full time.
Yeah, it is.
No leg brace, no knee braces and shit. Like, new number change and everything. Like, he's feeling.
He's feeling that new number. He's liking that 9 right now. But
also, your guy from NC State,
Kamal Bonner, yes,
definitely
looks like a totally different guy from last year.
Looks like a linebacker now. Looks like a linebacker.
Yeah, no, he had some injuries last season. There was some things going on and whatnot. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't like what they expected to get from him last year, but it's been like a total 180 going into this offseason, just in much better shape, playing really well out there. I've heard a few good things as well on like a guy like Cam Pruitt, and even some flashes from a freshman in Jordan Campbell as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, Pruitt looks like he's gained more muscle mass for sure. He's a lot more physical. I ain't gonna say the package I've seen him in, but maybe it was nickel. I don't know. Somewhere in that area he was, but he's definitely your downhill. He's trying to thump something. So but he's a guy that added weight. I know we mentioned, if you remember when he was here with Guidry and he just looked skinny,
Yeah.
but he was athletic, but he was just really skinny. He definitely bulked up, added some size. I mean, impressive. So I know there's question marks about the room, like, oh, we got a lot of the older guys, and it's like straight to younger guys type of thing. But Wiley looks the part. He added weight and size. Looks like a fucking freak. Right along with Bonner. So I think
basically impressive of the room,
yeah. I think we got the right type of, like, all of them seem to be like your taller, linkier, strong, fast linebackers. And I think that's what Heatherman
and then you have the one outlier in Ezekiel Marcelin, who's
Omar 54, right?
Moment.
Yeah, or 17 now. He's 17 now.
Yeah, he switched to 17. They didn't change it on the roster at the beginning of the spring. I was out there. I'm like, wait a minute, who's 17? I don't see it on the right. And I'm like, wait, it's Marcelin.
Yeah. He was a special teams guy last year, but you know, guys got to get comfortable, man. I keep telling people, like, from high school to college, like, there is a huge learning curve, and some guys aren't just there physically or mentally, right? You know, but yeah, to your point, he looked like he's added some good size as well. I didn't know much about him coming in. I know he's a local guy, but to your point, I keep hearing that name pop up as well. So we'll see how he fits in. Maybe he's a special team guy, rotational guy, maybe in some points of the game. We'll see what continues to develop. But overall, like, I don't know who's going to start. I think we would assume Teray and Chase Smith. And then at some point, you got Wiley and guy from 11. You know, you have the Bonner. You have those two guys that's like right there after. And then Howell, 22, gosh, I can't think of his name. They all have similar names, I feel like. Bobby Pruitt. I want to say Cam Pruitt. You know, where he fits, I think he's a guy you can plug and play throughout the defense, right? Whether it's at safety, nickel, linebacker, just depends on what the game is, what type of game it is.
I think the linebacker room is going to be fun.
Yeah, for sure. Too much experience in there at the starting linebacker. With Teray and Chase Smith, like those two guys, and just how long they've been in college. A lot of football. That matters a lot. If you don't believe me, look at Indiana's team last year and how it impacted them with all the old ass guys they had on their team.
Well, Amon, I know you're in some group chats with me as well, my friend, but I'm sure the comments would be wild this year if it does end up being Chase Smith and Mohamed Teray, just simply for the amount of eligibility. People will be like, man, they've been in college for like 15 years, fans will probably say, but
combined,
there's nothing like that experience. And again, like, for example, Mohamed Teray, I think he's a guy that, especially like right as Miami got into the playoffs, I think he started getting comfortable. I think there was some hesitation from him early on, coming off the knee injury. Just it seemed like
he missed the whole year, bro.
Yeah,
like ACL out the whole year, the year prior. I mean, anybody coming back, especially at that position, the physicality where you play with downhill, the stop and start is not going to feel the same in game 1 or 2 or 3 than it is in week 16 in the playoffs, right? Where you're in the system again, you're familiar. Remember that coach went to Minnesota, so it's not like, there was a little bit of that learning curve a little bit. It takes time to gel, but to your point, I mean, he was playing really well in those playoffs to the point where I was like, damn, like that's what we expected when he first came in, but we got him for a whole year, whole off season to get healthy and all that stuff. And
you see,
I think we're going to see it.
I knew there wasn't being like air blown into my face. Like someone from Miami had mentioned this to me last year, and it was early on in the season. I was having a conversation with them, and they said, like, like Mohamed Teray is a difference maker. And like, it was only a couple games in, and I was just like, man, like, when is it going to happen? Like, when are we going to see it? And it didn't really click until that playoff. People always make the joke, like when he knocked out the Texas A&M receivers, like a light like turned back on, and he became like the guy that people saw from the Rutgers film.
Yeah.
And I don't think someone, at least internally at Miami, would be saying that he is a difference maker unless it was like truthfully that way. I've learned with certain people I've spoken with at Miami, certain conversations over the years about specific scenarios that I don't think they would be just like making that up. Like, oh yeah, he's a difference maker. Like they truly believe that. They believe
don't
that.
understand about everybody.
And Corey Heatherman's very he's very specific about like what he looks for in linebackers too. Like you mentioned it, like the size and the height and the range and everything. He's got body types like that now. He's got more of them and healthy too. So I'm curious to see kind of how they make up that whole group this year. You asked me, in my opinion, I think they could potentially be better against the run, and I think some of that will have to do with that. I think Miami's interior D line is going to be better this year, at least the interior. Yeah, it's going to make a world of a difference.
Exactly, they can actually shoot those gaps a lot faster. They can, I get you. That's one part.
So last one, DBs, and we jump to some important questions here. Aman, I'm sure this is no rabbit coming out of the hat. Everyone has talked about it at this point, but JJ Dunnigan. I mean, there's nothing left to be said. Like this kid is, for a true freshman, way ahead of the curve. I noticed the day one of spring. I'm like, it just looks different. 6'3", almost 200. Run.
He's 6. Yeah, he's like muscle, like body wise, like ready for college football. And then he's just so athletic. I think we've seen the videos, right? The way he's moved, hips, high point the football, stay on his feet, like all that stuff that we always, want to see at safety, right? That playmaking ability is what I kind of call it. He has that. So where he can fit into the defense early on, and will he start? I don't know, right? It's going to be hard to start over like a Poyser and Bryce Rogero, but I do think he's a guy that you can plug in the defense at any of the positions, and I think he's a guy that can make impact plays. That's just the energy that gives off. And I was there, talking with his dad like for like at least 30 minutes of the practice, and just get an idea. He's cut from that cloth, man. I can tell you he's raised the right way. Like thought about working hard. It's just one of those things, man. I think he's those guys, like one of those guys that I think we're going to hit on, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's going to be difficult for him to start out of specifically start out the gate because of where Miami's DB room is now, comparatively to I don't want to say 3 years ago, because technically James Williams and Cam Kinchins were still here, but between those 2 to 3 years,
I get you.
Yeah, because those guys could play. They could absolutely play.
I'm fucking with you. Yeah, no, he would have.
I'm talking more so that Cam Ward group. It's just
he would have started.
OJ came right in there and snatched the starting job. It just, that room wasn't there yet, where it is now. It's very different. Even just safety room overall, Miami attacked that as well last year, and then you carry that into this year. I think it's going to be difficult to start out the gate, but he's definitely going to have a role. There's no denying that. He's probably, if you had to place a bet, who could make the biggest impact on the defense this year, that is a true freshman.
I'm gonna put it like this: Amari Wallace left, and I remember vaguely people was like, "Oh, a guy, right? Trust me, he was gonna beat out him for sure. JJ, he was gonna beat out whoever, whoever not starting, he was beating out. I don't even care who you want to put there. So to that point, I think we've done a really good job recruiting, and I think the staff knows that. So when we see guys that they let walk and stuff, just know the replacement or the guy that we're bringing in is probably a really good eval.
Be better.
Yeah. So, but yeah, he's good. Poyser looks really good. He looks even more athletic than last year. I'm noticing him high pointing the ball a lot. Damn, he had an interception. He did drop a pick in one-on-ones. Or was it one-on-ones? Yeah, one-on-ones. He ran through a perfect read. So he's a lot comfortable from what I'm seeing. He looks a lot comfortable in the defense. I think people got to remember he did transfer from another school and it was his first year
Yeah.
in the system. He's playing at this level, right? So there's a little bit of learning curve, but I think he played really good last year. And I
I
think
think he caught some strays from fans at one point last year. Like some fans were saying, like, "Oh no, Poyser this or that." I'm like, "Are you
yeah,
sure?"
they're
Like,
blind.
I think he played really well last year.
He was a really good safety for us. I mean, he don't hesitate. He's attacking the football downhill. I think people don't remember at Jackson State, he was really a strong safety.
Yeah.
So him playing in the box and hitting is like what he was doing over there. He just has the ability to play free as well. Last year he played a lot more free than I think he naturally can play, but I think we'll see him as strong safety this year, possibly a good amount. We'll see. But him, bro, Bryce Fitzgerald added weight and
Oh yeah.
size. Like I'm not gonna lie, maybe it was a number 10. I don't know. When I first walked in that first way, I was like, that's Fitzgerald. I'm like, damn, like he
Yeah,
added
he's
a
put
lot
on
of weight.
size.
He looks really good, you know. So maybe he's a guy that can bump into that nickel spot. He played some last year. I know we had questions about the tackling, right? But you'll be surprised when you add some weight and lift some weights. You know, you may want to start tackling. You know, so we'll see.
I know the
Omar,
guy who's shocking people. I don't think it should be a shock because
Mhm.
I don't blame the kid for the situation at Florida State. Like
Mhm.
just
Oh,
the whole makeup with the roster and the team. Conrad
yeah,
Hussey's going to play.
yeah.
He's
Now
going to play.
he looks the part. He looks like a physical type of safety downhill. I think he's in that phase where whether he's earning the stripes from the team or the coaches, whatever it is, I think he's doing right from outside looking in. Right, I'm not in the locker room. Right, I don't know all the ins and outs to the T, especially in that room.
Yeah.
But I think he's a guy that's just head down, grinding, putting in the work, going through that like phase. And yeah, it wouldn't shock me if he's a guy that sees the field in some type of rotation next or this upcoming season.
And Omar Thornton. I just think overall, like, I think everyone kind of knows, like, yeah, you know what the starting safeties are probably going to be. You know what the starting corners or like that group is kind of going to be like between those top four guys you have, and even some young talented guys like Jabari Antoine and Chris Ewald. Both those guys can play.
Yeah.
And Amon, we were talking about Chris Ewald here last year.
Yeah,
Like,
he's saying he was getting a lot of reps at nickel.
he can play.
Yeah, he can play. He's really good in the nickel. And another person that's like, bro, he's always around the football when that thing in the air is Camden Portis. I didn't know who he was. I was like, who's number 21? Why he look bigger than like, who is that? And then I'm like, oh, that's the Portis kid. I remember
Portis'
the
son,
pictures.
yeah.
He looks skinny in the pictures, but nah, he can play ball in that nickel. So I think you don't have to force a safety to go play nickel because you don't have one. I think there's legit competition there. But you also have guys that in the back end that are interchangeable that can
That
bump
can
down
play
the
there.
nickel. Exactly. So I'm not worried about the position. I think last year we knew Keontae Scott. Everyone else was questioning, him coming in at that, spot. Obviously, after him, right, there wasn't really much there. Obviously, when he went down, we had to put Bryce Fitzgerald there. But I think we got some depth at that position now. And you got guys that are interchangeable, like a Omar Thornton or Bryce Fitzgerald, that can, bump in there depending on how the season goes or how the game goes, whatever the case may be. So that's really all the DBs for the most part. Obviously, corner, Radid, that's really self-explanatory. It's really the same four corners really coming back. So it's, what you're getting.
I think the beauty behind this year's offseason, some people don't enjoy it. Maybe even some coaches around the coaching world don't enjoy it in college football, but no spring transfer window. So you kind of already, I wouldn't say a complete idea of what you have, but a very good idea about it. And then if anyone else takes another step between spring and fall, sometimes that happens. Sometimes even some guys fall back, like they don't perform as well as they did in spring and fall camp. That happens too. So I think the beauty behind it is that you already kind of know what you have. You kind of know like who can play this year, who maybe might need another year, who might need some time, a little more seasoning, a little little more refinement, but I feel good about Miami's roles this year. I feel good about it. I'm not going to come on here right now and proclaim right back to a natty. You know, it's easier said than done. There's a lot of work that goes into that.
For sure.
I don't see any reason why Miami can't continue to compete and again be in that conversation to be in the list.
I can't see why we can't go 12-0. I'll say that. You know, I can't see why you can't go 12-0, and then from there, you know, we know what comes after that, right? I think it's self-explanatory. We do our thing, win our conference. After that, we know how we get when it gets to that.
I think that's the last, like, I guess the saying would be like the last monkey to get off the back. It's like
ACC,
because I'm sure like any Miami fan will probably say like, man, who really cares about the ACC anymore? You know, we got to the national championship, but when you hear it from another fan of another school to say, oh, you never won the ACC, like I think that cloud still lingers, and that should be the goal this year. You pop that cloud. You have all the rain come out of that cloud, pop it. Win your conference this year. You win your conference, you leave no shadow of a doubt. No, you don't leave it up to a committee to decide like, hey, put us in, or you having to go out there and promote yourself to get in. It's your ticket's right in there. You win it, you're in. That's it. So I think that should be the goal this year. I know we're still plenty of time out until then, but I don't see any reason why they can't do it. And I don't see a team relatively close to them in terms of talent in the ACC. And you saw this when they decided, like, you know, that decision after SMU that, no, like, we have to put points on the board. We can't grind down games to to shorten them.
Yeah.
I think they already get that concept that like, hey, like we can't play down to the competition. Like we have to curb stomp them.
Yep. Yeah. No, I agree. Man. So, you know, look, big opportunity this year. I think we're all excited. You know, I mean, at this point, like I said, top to bottom, I know someone asked about, you know, do we think we have a top 5 roster? I believe so. Yeah. And like I said, I mean, just we talk about 2,000-yard receivers returning, or, you know, one transferring in, one returning, right? What, the second or most passing yards in college football, Mensa, 1,000-yard running back with 4 other damn near returning guys. Your entire secondary is pretty much returning. And the guys that did leave, obviously someone like Keontae Scott is hard to replace. But like I said, if you scheme up the right way with the guys that we brought in, you know, we can still, I think, get very similar impact.
But here's my counter argument to that, though. Well, I shouldn't say argument because I'm sure you're going to agree with me with what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
Who knew Keontae Scott was like, if you watched his tape from Auburn, you knew he was a good player, but who knew that he was going to play at the level that he played at this past season before the season began? No one.
Yeah, I knew he was a dog because my little brother went to Auburn, you know, so I was a little bit familiar with the recruiting and who guys they brought in. So I remember seeing, well, he's number 6 at the time. I remember seeing, you know, him at the nickel spot and, you know, being very aggressive to the football. Obviously, the next year or whatever, I think it was the next year,
when they moved him to
outside and stuff. So I was just going based off like, okay, if you put a guy with his former coach in a position that he's supposed to play, I think he could be productive. This productive, like arguably first, second round, no. But I knew he could be a really good player that can make some plays for us in that nickel position. He just took it and went above and beyond to a whole nother level. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, that's the variable that I look at, that I think there's going to be guys that like we're talking about right now that maybe fans may be sleeping on at the moment that
exactly
can really like specific guys looking at is like
Armando. I got one for you, brother.
Scott.
Omar Thornton is going to shock a lot of fans. He can actually cover.
Yeah.
I heard actually from when I was out there, him and Mally, I guess Mally's a freshman, I guess, at the time or whatever, younger. But they used to go against each other all the time. And so he's used to covering smaller guys. But what happened was, I guess, when he went to Boston College to kind of prove himself and, you know, show he can kind of cover and be like a safety? Because I guess he was a linebacker back in the
Yeah,
day.
he was like a pseudo linebacker before. Yeah.
Yeah, so but he has the ability to cover. It's just he's really good at hitting, so I think that overweighs his actual coverage ability. But I watch him in person run stride for stride with Malley and other guys, and he got really good hips. He can cover. So I know people are wondering, is he just a box safety, just downhill, type of guy? Yes, he can do that, but he can also cover. And it's easy for people to just say, well, he can hit hard, so he can't cover, but he can do both. So I think that'll shock a lot of people this season. Last person I said this about was Jacoby Thomas.
Jacoby
but
Thomas.
I think I was like, bro, he got some film. He can cover. I mean, he's not a bot out there. I'm not saying he's the best cover guy. He's not a cornerback, but he can play. Thornton gives me similar vibes. I think he's a little bit more athletic, like naturally athletic, than Jacoby Thomas. As far as like hips and movement, yeah.
I definitely think that'll give some people comfort because there are fans that have had that thought, like, oh, well, he could hit, but can he really cover? Like, I remember those same questions, the things that were brought up about Jacoby Thomas last year. And it just, like I said, Aman, I think there's guys right now that like we're talking about and we're giving some praise to as well, but that maybe fans may not realize that like they could take a big step or they could be even better than what we're seeing or what we're expecting. Like I definitely do think that could take place. But if there's one guy I'm putting the marbles in on, Josh Moore, man. Josh Moore. That's the story of spring right now.
Yeah. He said someone in the comments said, did he have a lot of missed tackles at Bethune or BC? You got to remember, at Boston College, you're not playing with other like elite talented guys. So you're trying. Sometimes you're doing a lot more than you're supposed to. Sometimes you're doing other people's jobs. But when you play on really good teams, the best part about it, and that's why we get a lot of these top recruits or guys in the portal, because you're playing with other guys that are just as talented, if not more talented than you. So a guy like him, he's coming in. He just got to focus on his assignment. He's not worried about the free safety shooting the wrong gap. Now he's chasing. Oh, now he missed the tackle. Now it looks like it's his fault. Right. So I think I don't really, and I said the same thing about Keontae Scott at Auburn. Like, I can't really get too much into what a guy did at another school. I'm just going to look at the intangibles on the film, right? How he plays, his motor, things like that. And you can come up with your prediction. But I can't go off like, because Boston College don't recruit or have the talent level we have. So God knows what the free safety or the linebackers or the D line was doing that may have put him in certain situations where he may have missed some tackles, things of that nature, right? So, because I know people was, oh, he can't cover. I'm like, damn, like I don't think Boston College had a good secondary at all.
No, they didn't.
So how many times was it blown coverage where he ended up trying to make up for it? And he, you know how it is, man. At safety, I play safety, so I already know. Like that shit get hard when your linebackers is ducking smoke, D lineman stunting the wrong way. Is you and another guy with nothing, like 30 yards of space. You got to make the play. You miss it, and it's just like, a bad look. So, but yeah, to the point, like I said, I don't really get too much into, what they really did at the previous school. Because I think we are a lot better situation schematically and talent-wise than most schools.
Couldn't have said it any better, my man.
Yeah, give me 2 seconds, Gio. I'm gonna be right back. Hold on.
Yeah, no problem. Jump through some questions here. Jacoby Gregg said, "Go Canes, go Canes." Thank you, Jacoby, for always stopping by. You've always been a big supporter of the show. He said, "Heard Gio jumped off the diving board of the pool party." No, I wasn't even there, my man. I was on vacation with my family for Easter and everything. But I definitely would have jumped off of it if I was there. But let's see. No. Money Counter 305. Hey, Gio, been hearing buzz every week on Wingo since the Cotton Bowl practices. Do you see freshman All-American? I think it's going to be very tough for Samori and Wingo to like capture that like freshman All-American status. I think it has to do a lot with just how deep the room is. I think he's going to play quite a bit this year. He'll be in that rotation. I just think to be a freshman All-American, You got to be a guy that starts throughout the year. Again, we don't know what happens. Maybe someone gets hurt or things change over time. I think it may be tough to do that, but I still think he's going to be really productive either way, even with a designation like that at the end of the year or not. Let's see here. Chris, I can't pull up this comment. Chris Senecola, Brother Wingo is nasty. Yes, he is. Money counter 305. I heard. I just want them to let the best receivers play. They absolutely will. They will let the best receivers play. There's I know there was some discourse about Kevin Beard a year ago. I have no issue with Kevin Beard being Miami's receiver coach, and I know Amon could probably even attest to this once he's back. I'm going to bring it up to him, actually. I'm sure he's going to agree. Jacoby Greg said, my guy, 82, about time. Yes, Possum Jenkins. We were running a little bit behind tonight, but thank you for stopping by. Gio Amon, was Abel a danger at Saturday pool party showing school spirit and showing potential recruits, or do I remember her toys? No comment. Juan Manuel said, welcome back, Amon. Money counter. Hey, Jew and Amon, glad you guys back together. Amon, give me a breakdown on what kind of receiver Wingo is it? Yeah, Amon had answered that earlier. Howard Stern, it feels so great to be recruiting big-time players and not last-minute midgets like Terrell McRae because Larry Coker missed on every player. Yeah, I can show you guys with this. I should share this to you guys. It's actually a former player that I spoke to at an event this past year, and he said that, like, in terms of the comments about how Larry Coker would recruit as a coach, he said that Larry Coker would look down the top 100 list of, like, rivals back in the day, like when that was like the only big recruiting site, like 2002, 2003, 2004, and kind of just cherry pick from that list, like, okay, like, who can we go after? Where's this guy ranked and whatnot, rather than thorough internal evaluations. Former player said that, so I found that kind of interesting and comical as well. Money counter. Gio, why do I feel like Hayden Lowe is our version of Bigfoot? You hear about this creature, but you never see it. No, I don't think Hayden Lowe is Bigfoot or anything like that. He had a nice start to camp and everything and whatnot. Just, still a lot of time to go in camp. So, Possum Jenkins, is Chase Smith a legit starter or may start by default? I don't know if I want to say Chase Smith is going to start by default because there's an ongoing competition there at the linebacker spot, but he definitely has a real chance to start. This is the best he's looked since he's been at Miami since his freshman year, basically, before he had all the injuries. Like, this is the best he has looked here. One man, well, Gio and Amon, I'm buying and betting on Mensa winning the Heisman with 4,000 yards and 40 touchdowns, including conference title, outduel CJ Carr, November 7th, have Tony second. Miami wins 90 and 26, betting on it. Man, well, that's pretty bold. I don't know if I'd be betting on all that just yet. I know it's nice to get better odds early on before they continuously move before the season starts, but I don't know. Stuff like that, I don't touch at this time of the year. There's a lot of stuff that can happen. Jacoby Greg said Moore made a 6 catch at practice. Yeah, it happens pretty frequently. Howard Stern, Vandrevius Jacobs is going to be a total gem difference maker. Will open up the vertical passing game. Absolutely agree. Like we were talking about earlier, me and Amon said that. Howard Stern, I think we're better playing with 4 to 5 wide receiver sets than playing with 2 tight ends. Depends. It all depends on what they want to run, what they feel like is best. With this group, I do think you'll see more shades of kind of more of the concepts you saw with Cam Ward when he was here. I'm not saying Cam Ward and Darian Mensah are 1 for 1. I think there are some differences between the two, like me and Amon have discussed and elaborated on. But I think just spreading it out more, I'm sure you'll see that. And the other thing, in terms of those 2 tight end sets, that naturally you're going to see that because of the affinity for wanting to run the ball. I mean, Miami even did that when Cam Ward was here at times. They did have those 2 tight end sets with McCormick and Arroyo and whatnot. But Amon, I want to jump back to this one question I saw here as I was skimming down them. There's someone here that said it specifically for you. Here it is. Let's see. Someone asked about Wingo. I know you answered that earlier, but
I vaguely heard it, but
oh, here you go. Here's your question for you, Amon. Let's see. My guy, 82.
Let me see. It's a pool party. Y'all boys crazy.
Here we go. This was the one I wanted to bring up. So Money Counter said, "Hey, Gio, I've been hearing buzz every week on Wingo since Cotton Bowl practice. Do you see freshman All-American if given the opportunity?" I said that, at least my opinion, because I said I want to defer to you on this. My opinion was I think it's going to be difficult because how deep the room is versus opportunity. Like, I think he's going to be in that rotation. I'm pretty confident about it. But I think to get that freshman All-American status, like you got to be like starting at like some point near the beginning of the year, and going well into the end of the season for that designation.
Yeah, or like heavy in the rotation, Now, if he comes in and makes, let's say he's averaging 17, 18 yards a catch or something like that, he can get like 500 yards off like 20 catches or, something like that.
Yeah, he could.
He could. Just depends on what other freshmen around America is doing as well. But to your point, I think it'll be hard to get that title just due to the amount of guys we have in that room. And Mally, 1,000-yard receiver, Barcade, Josh Moore's progressing, Cam Vaughn, a guy that's been in college for a good second, Jacobs, a burner. I mean, it's possible. It's not impossible, right? You just never know, right? Things can change from now into camp, right? He could continue progression. Other guys could take a step back. You just never know. But I would say it would be very difficult the way the roster is right now for him to get that title. But I think he'll be a really good player for us at his career here at Miami.
Skimming through some more here. Cam Vaughn, sleeper. Who do you compare Josh Moore to? I think this is a good one for you. I don't know if you want to throw out a comparison for him, but who do you compare Moore to?
I got one. And when I say the name, just ignore any off the field ruckus.
Go ahead.
I'm going to go with the Slim Reaper, and I'm not talking about Devontae Smith, but I'm talking about Mr. George Pickens. Listen to me.
George Pickens.
I say George Pickens. I'm talking about, think about George Pickens at Georgia, the 5-star contested catch, downfield threat, can also get intermediate, but just without like the extraness, you know what I'm trying to say? But that's kind of what I think of off the top of my mind when I see him, moving around, but he's more smoother. He's a more smooth runner. Like he has a long strider. But on top of my head, like just saying the name that people, I think we can all like know, is as close as I can get. Like 6'4", 200 plus pounds. He's not as he's bigger, like physically wise. I think he's going to be than George Pickens, but the style of play, as far as like contested catches, downfield threat, big plays, spectacular catches, like that's what I think about when I see Josh Moore. Think about George Pickens.
Another one here for you, Amon. In a spread with 4 wide receivers, game on the line, who are you taking and why?
I'm gonna go Barcade at Z. I'm gonna go Mally slot. I'm gonna go Vendrevious Jacobs at the other slot, and then Josh Moore on the outside. That's what I would go. Just because of the speed, Mally, then you have your guy that can, Barcade, get open, make the contested catch, and you have your big guy. That's what I go off the top of my head. But that's interchangeable. Maybe one of those guys maybe can take out Vaughn and put him Cam Vaughn, or Jacobs and put in Cam Vaughn, or maybe a Van Spafford for the speed as well. 2 slot guys, right? Or you can go big. Maybe go Milan Paris on the outside, Josh Moore on the very outside, Mally in the slot, Barcade in the slot, something of that nature.
This is a question for me. Renaud, by the way, everyone, if we can't get to every question, we've been on for a little while. I'm just trying to get to like really good ones as I skim down. But yeah, Sergio, any words on if the spring game will be televised? I heard it's not going to be televised, that it's just going to be on WQAM. So you could find that on 104.3 FM or 560 AM radio as well. So yeah, I heard it's not going to be televised this year though. And a lot of schools are doing that, so not really surprised. Juan Manuel said, did Malachi Tony grow an inch to be 6 foot? He looks bigger and a step faster. I think a step faster could be reasonable. I mean, he definitely looks more thicker up top. Like he's put on some muscle. That is
he could grow. I mean, I remember he reclassed. He was supposed to be in high school last year. So, like, eating the right things, right? I'm not saying he didn't eat like that in high school, right? But obviously the nutrition we have is top tier. The vitamins you're taking, supplements and stuff you're taking for workouts and stuff, like all that stuff is probably helping him. So maybe he may grab an extra inch or two, but he definitely is noticeably like stronger. He looks more fit. Not saying he didn't look fit last year, but he just has like more muscle tone this year than last year. He does look a little bit more explosive for sure.
Ralph said, Aman, I've always been curious. What is the protocol for players if on the field in the middle of a national broadcast game, you come down with a need to go to the bathroom emergency?
All right. So this is how it works. Y'all see the tent that that players go in when they're hurt? If you gotta use the bathroom, man, they pull that tent up, you go in there, take your leak, in like a cup or whatever it is, whatever bucket, take your little leak, and then that's it. Now if you got a Duke, like if you gotta take a shit mid-game, first off, you got like 2-3 hours before the game even starts to do all that anyway. So if you're doing that, if you got it, that means you just was like playing games before or something. Because you're doing a lot of running and movement. So you got it like 2 hours before the kickoff, or hour and a half before kickoff, we arrive at the stadium. So you got time you go out on the field, you run, you warm up a little bit, go back in. Usually is when guys start using the bathroom last second. After that, then you put on your gear, go out there, do more warm-ups, game kicks off. Game kicks off, bro, you're not thinking about taking no shit. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, it's so much movement and running, you drink so much water throughout the day and stuff that you ain't taking no shit. The only time I see that, bro, is like basketball players, bro. Like, that's the only people I know that be having the shit and stuff. And like I said, that's because like I don't think they warm up as as we do. Like, we're hitting each other pregame warm-ups, like, so I think it's a little different. We warm up a lot longer than I think basketball players do. So to answer the question, maybe a linebacker I can remember had to take a Duke like mid-game. He runs off into like the back. They run him around the, because our sidelines on the opposite side of where we enter, so they run you around the side. You go in, and usually, it's quick. You're not sitting on there reading the newspaper. You in, take your Duke, you right back out, into the game. But it don't happen that often. Guys got to pee a lot more than they do shit. You know what I'm saying? You're drinking a lot of fluid. So
I think everyone got plenty of insight.
Hey, he wanted the real,
he wanted the insider on it.
Insight, but that's the truth.
Oh man. Vegas King, too many Green Sheen Hall of Famers are not panning out. Vegas King, I gotta be honest with you. Yeah, sometimes it happens. There's some guys that are gamers, like they play even better in a game than they do in practice.
Right.
Sometimes it doesn't translate from practice to game day.
Yeah,
it sucks, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like they have a choice, right? I mean, the goal is to try to make plays. Unfortunately, some guys, you make plays in practice feeling good, fucking lights turn on, and there's 70,000 people in there looking at you. Some guys let's just be honest real quick. I don't want to drag it, but let's just, everyone viewing, right? Just put yourself into an actual college player. You go hard all week, you go crazy, you practice, battling through injuries, whatever. You get to game day, and like, have you guys ever performed in front of like a play in like middle school and you've been nervous like before the play? You're like, oh my gosh, like they're watching you. All right, what the hell you think players feel when there's 65,000 people?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, watching your every move, like making sure you make the play every time. Like, some guys, they get in their heads, they start overthinking things, you know. So I don't really like, I know people like saying Green Tree All American. It's just maybe a stage fright. You know what I'm saying? And I think we've all been there at one point in time, whether it's growing up, being a kid, or if you guys in college, you got public speaking, right? You got to stand up and present in front of 15 people in your class or 30, and you about to shit bricks. So what you expect from a player that's got to make a catch or a tackle and there's 65,000 people watching? You know, it happens. Some guys get in their head, but then some guys that zero out the noise and, you know, they look forward to that, you know. So unfortunately, yes, Green Tree All Americans is a real thing, but that moment, man, you gotta remember we play for the U, man. It's a lot of pressure, a lot of expectation for guys, and some people just can't handle it, you know. Just the truth, to be honest with you.
Trigger one. I've seen Jamion Mallory, a bunch of times at West Boca. He's legit for real. I agree. I think he's a really good running back.
Yeah. I think he's a guy that's like when we get into like year 2, year 3 type of thing, I think he'd be like that big back that we all like.
Jose Gonzalez, I know it's early, but there's a reason we kept getting a center in the transfer portal over and over. Will SJ Alafai-Tuli be the center by the end of the year if Rodriguez struggles? I'll say this. SJ is kind of like moonlighted between like guard and center, actually, from what I know. Like,
yeah, I've seen him at left guard.
Specifically center. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen him at left guard some reps. I think, I mean, to your point, like to piggyback off that like last question is like Rodriguez is, to your point, has been a guy that's been here. Matter of fact, he was starting right at that UF game, the opening game 2024. So he's a guy that's been in the system, to your point, got the experience. He's physical. I mean, he can get the job done at center. So it's just like one of those things where I think SJ is just like kind of came in at a time where we got like a Brockermeyer where obviously he's going to be the starter. And then you got Rodriguez who's been sitting in the pipeline just waiting to start. So, you know, I think that gives him time to continue developing, right? You know, play other positions, learn the game, and then maybe next year, maybe he's the guy. Maybe he's ready. You know, but we'll see. I wouldn't give up just now, though. I wouldn't just, you know.
Son shared here. Gio, the man, the myth, the legend. No, that's Amon, man.
Oh, man.
I'm just a regular guy.
They call me Malone, man.
Atlanta Canes. In your opinion, will Terry Jefferson be DB coach or somebody new? Look, I'm going to be honest here about like the whole DB coach thing. At least there's local coaches that have shared this. That they've said that Jefferson's the guy as the DB coach. Now, has Miami announced something official? No, but take it for what it's worth.
Yeah, I got no problem. I like Jefferson. I know him too. Like, wow, yeah, no, he's a really. If you met him, like he's a really good guy. So I can see where him recruiting could like be a good thing for us as well. I think he can recruit. It's just he hasn't like done it as an official like DB coach for, you know what I'm trying to say. But hey, like you don't know what you have until he's in that position. So just because he wasn't the DB coach before, don't mean he's not capable, right? He sat in a room. He's been there. You know, he's obviously learning, right? He's not just, you know, playing tweedling his, you know, private around or something in a back room somewhere. So, you know, I know some people want to see the big name come across at DB so they can brag and troll, but at the end of the day, I think we realized Mario is going to put the best guy in position that we need year after year, and it wouldn't surprise me if he's that guy. So, Mr.
Lexiani, Amon, what it do, fool?
Fuck you. I don't know you, name. Nah, the fuck. I can get my trolls off now, man. It's been too long, man. These people. But that was good, brother. Matter of fact, I got the Lexani rims on my car.
Brother, if I was drinking something, it would have been all over the camera. The cooler Mel B. Hey, hoodie girl stopping by. She said, "Mass moves ass." She is absolutely,
man. I told you about Jai Lucas, man. Hey, people got to start. Hey, my takes, Gio. I'm not gonna lie.
I started.
No,
writing them
Ahmad was
down.
on the Jay Lucas train from day one.
Bruh,
I had concerns because I was like, first time coach. Like, okay, what's the
what I
transition?
said, Gio, I said, bro, basketball to me is like, bro, you just go get the best guys out there. You figure that shit out. Like, go get a bunch of 5-stars, bro, and you'll get some magic. Bro, I know there's plays and a lot of schematic stuff to it, but at least in college basketball, like, I see it as like just talent acquisition. Like, can you get guys that can create their own shot, make open threes, right? That's why I liked him, and then him being at Duke, I'm like, bro, what do you think he's doing at Duke? Just like not doing anything? Like, yeah, he's an assistant coach, but like he's learning from a pretty good coach, like every single day, how to coach, how to practice, everything. So it surprised me the record and how far he went, but I wasn't surprised about like Ja Lucas being a good coach.
Hassan asked here, Gio, a couple questions. Some of us fans are a little upset about Nick Lanier taking visits. Should we be worried? I mean, South Florida kids are going to be South Florida kids, man. You guys already know the deal. But I don't think long-term fans should be worried. It's never been a secret that he loves this
game, Gio. A lot more, with NIL and the visits and all that. You got to do what you got to do sometimes. Like, I would like for him to shut it down and not, but that's like unrealistic these days. Just with what comes with the visits, if you know what I'm saying, nowadays, and all that good stuff.
Programs paying for visits too.
It's crazy. Like they're gonna break that. They don't, what it, So it don't shock me. I wouldn't see it as like him playing games with Miami. I think we've seen the videos of his natural reaction to us playing football games.
He loves Miami.
The actual true passion and love behind the game. So I'm not worried about all that stuff.
Then he shared here. He shared here, and also we haven't heard anything about Caden Henderson. Also, Joshua Dobson. Are we still in? Yeah, Miami's in it for both of those guys, especially Henderson as well. I mentioned I thought those Texas A&M crystal balls were a little premature. Hernan, do you think they'll rotate some guys in like last year on the O-line? Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's been a staple since Mario's first arrived. I think guys you could see doing that this year. Some guys like rotating in or like as a 6th or 7th offensive lineman.
Merriweather, maybe.
You could see a guy like Jaden Wilkerson, Ben Congdon, SJ, Jamal Merriweather. I think they got a few pieces to be able to do that, honestly.
Yeah. Guys get nicked up for a drive, right? Plug and play. That's why they cross-train, which I know you touched on before, So, like I said, offensive line, I think we'll see that rotation again.
Howard Stern asks here, does Dawson seem any different right now than last year? The experience will help him a lot. Don't forget the mistakes he made against Texas A&M and Ohio State right before halftime. He's very intense. I think he's really excited about the receiver group. I think those are just some takeaways to put there.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen, he also has that same kind of demeanor, right? He'll get on your ass out there, It's just I think he has a lot more toys to play with. Pause. As far as the running game, he can get a little bit more creative with the type of skill set we have at receiver. He knows what he has in Mally. I think if he knew what Mally had coming into the year, maybe he would have used him a lot more like early on, which he did use him to get him out. But I think he has a lot more toys to play with.
Dude, I didn't think anything about it, but like the first time you said pause and like it registered, I'm like, oh my god.
Nah, man, I'm clowning, man. We having a good time on here, man. The show, we back, we rolling. I know people was like, damn.
By the way, for everyone, like these shows are never structured. It's just pure raw.
Yeah.
Like, we don't come in here and be like playing like, hey, like let's talk about this. No, it's just like
we just
go. Talk.
It's been what? How long? A few months. we literally got on hit play and just started rolling. We just started rolling.
Oh man.
Dawson gonna walk around with that big ass hat, long ass clipboard and or play sheet, whatever that is, and he gonna, he get after it, But he's calm in his demeanor, but he's very like assertive. Like he knows what he wants. He knows what he's looking for. So now I think we'll see a lot more. I'm not gonna say he's not creative, right? Because I think he's shown he can be creative. throughout the year at times. So I think we'll have a bit more explosive offense down the field as far as like the speed and big receivers that can make plays, stuff like that.
Juan Manuel said people have underestimated Ben Congdon. If you look more closely, he was an ascending once. He's 4-star overall. Yeah, he was a late riser in the rankings, but he has it all. And he asked here, what about Joel Urban? Joel Urban,
I forgot about him.
He's been a little banged up, like when it came into coming into spring. So, but they're excited about him, but we'll see. Albert McKinney, is it going to be Damon Wilson and Blunt on the edge? I think it doesn't really start, honestly. I think it's just the
heavy rotation,
more healthy rotation there, even more than you saw last year. Because last year, you would see they would lean on Bain and Mesidor at times, would bring guys in. I don't think you're going to see that this year,
especially those long drives. And if you think back to that Florida State game, like when they started rallying back, like our guys were gassed and they just weren't coming off the field. A lot of the times, I will be honest, guys don't take themselves, like they don't want to come out. So a coach may say, hey, sub out, and they like, nah, like, and to the point, like, it's that competitive nature in you, but sometimes you need to get your ass off the field because you're dead tired.
Yep.
I've been there, everyone's been there where you don't want to get off, but it's best for the team in that moment. Just maybe come off for a play, get your win. But it's hard to like say, yeah, I want to come off the field. It's just, that's why with receiver rotation, I don't really like pick on it too much because like one, our offense wasn't as like downfield where guys are running 40 yards and having to come right back. And so a lot of times we put together 10, 12 play drives. So a lot of times you're standing like you're blocking maybe 5 yards or whatever. So there's no reason for you to come out the game. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying the coach not going to just take you out just because, oh, you've been 4 plays, you're out now. Like, nah, that's not how it go. If you go down the field and you catch a bomb or it's incomplete, then you come off the field. Other than that, for the most part, you're staying on the field. So, but like I said, I think we'll have a lot more down the field shots and plays. So you'll see a lot more guys coming in to sub in for a guy that just ran 50 yards and caught a football or whatever.
Let's see. Kyle CGA21 from X said he thinks defense will be better. DTs and secondary elite. Miami will give up less yards and points per game on defense this season. That's a bold take. I thought Miami's defense easily a top 5 group in the country last year, regardless of what any statistics said. I think the eye test said it all. But Juan Manuel said, Gio, is everything all right with Hayden Lowe? Just give me a thumbs up if he's okay. Here's your thumbs up. Don't worry, he's fine. Okay, and after talking about the defense, can you all talk about the backup QB and how they're looking? If you already did, I'll go. Luke Nickel, in my opinion, has improved a lot from last year. A lot.
Yeah, him, Coleman, his arm pops off the screen, but he's still young, right? He's very small.
I think he's just rawness with,
yeah. But to your point, them. I mean, I know people was asking about Judd. I'm not sure yet. I don't want to start this whole Emory thing where it was Emory questions last year and shit. Yeah. Now they're gonna turn it to the Judd show, and so let's just say, like they're all improving. They're trying to, it's just you got to be consistent. That's just the only thing I'm noticing is the guy that's gonna win that backup spot is a guy who's the most consistent. I think they all have different arm talents and different abilities. Whether it's Coleman's quick release, whether it's Luke Nickel, he's a guy that can actually move in the pocket. I've seen him escape sometimes in practice as well. Judd, your big ass quarterback, tall, all right, but can he be accurate consistently? You're right. That's the question that I would say. But I mean, it's a competition between those 3 guys. So we'll see. Between spring football, fall camp, who can get that number 2 job?
Yeah. I agree. But I will say again, though, I think if there's something that really caught my eye about the QB room of anyone returning, again, it's only 2 returnees, but
yeah,
Luke Nickel definitely looks a bit different from last year.
Yeah, probably more comfortable, in that.
Yeah.
The way, like I said, in high school, I'm not saying he didn't learn nothing, but it's just a different level, especially at quarterback, just the offensive line of protection, the route concepts.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a lot, You know what I'm saying? So, to your point, he's probably more comfortable. Played a lot of big-time football as well. So.
Let's see, Sergio J. Sanchez, real estate. With secondary so deep, can you see one linebacker defense sets? Saw that last year. I don't know if fans noticed it, but there's a few times they did run a dime package.
Yeah,
Actually,
they gonna have Wesley Pinch.
They put Pruitt out there during a dime package.
Yeah. I think the one that was like more like consistent, I remember vaguely, was like Florida State, Wesley hovering the line and like a 3rd and long. I think that was when Tommy he tried to scramble out, or they did a screen or whatever, but it was blown up. He took off running. Damari came up, made a tackle on him, but that was like, yeah, we've done that look a few times. I just think we got more coverage ability in the back end now, as far as like guys like the safeties, and more particular, I think they can cover a little bit better. Not saying Jacoby Thomas can cover nobody, but I think we got more range in that safety room. More ball hawks, I should say, guys that can attack, get out there the football.
We're almost at the end of the comments here. Been trying to riff through so many.
Yeah. Now we appreciate the support too, man. Everyone tuning in, commenting. I know it took us a little minute. Been a long time since we got on the show. A lot of information, practice. D-Briz, I don't know why you be commenting. Forget you. You got a bald ass head anyway. And you be offering.
By the way, he wasn't Amon wasn't the only one eating. I got some grub too. I had an order come in. I grabbed it, passed it over to my wife in the other room, and yeah.
I got him right where I want him, Gio. It's because I'm black. There's an ongoing joke by D-Briz to black people, so that's why I'm just
funny.
Trolling back. But D-Briz cool, man. D-Briz cool.
Yeah, D-Briz, I gotta be honest. What was it we saw? It was in a group chat, and a whole bunch of people were complaining about it because he put out a graphic. I think it was called the PVI or something.
Yeah, PVI. He got to explain what this is, man. He got this new AI. I don't know what it is. He's trying to get some takes off early. I know what he's doing. He's trying to put it out there and see where he lands. But you ain't AR, brother. I'm telling you, my batting percentage. If I'm a baseball player, my shit got to be in like the 300s or something. Like what 300 is like crazy, right? In baseball terms. Like,
yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm up there. I'm like Machado or one of them. What's the Asian guy? The Asian guy, Otani, or what? I'm up there with them when it comes to this prediction stuff.
Let's see. David Scott. David Scott said here, Gio, are you going to talk about recruiting? No recruiting today. Just pure football talk. I'll touch recruiting at some point this week. I have plenty to discuss on that. Could we say the dynamic duo? Go Canes. What's up, familia? Thank you for stopping by as always, man. Smash the like button. Yes. Smash the like button, like, share, and subscribe. Shop at caneswear.com. What is this? Both Chase Smith and Mo Toure have been sent their earned Medicare AARP card to get in free at seniors bingo night.
Oh, with these people, bro. God, he just called him old as shit. Essentially, that's essentially what he said. He old as shit. But hey, listen, we just took a page out of Indiana's playbook, man. Grab you some old guys in a spot that you need some legit bumpers, and I think we got a mixture of some old heads with some young guys that can fly around. So hey, man, it's legal, so it is what it is. Indiana, they just want a natty. They're not taking it back for them having an old team. So.
Awesome. Jenkins brought up the best fanfic you could think of. Conrad Hussey needs a pick 6 against FSU.
That would be tough. I know he would probably go crazy.
Oh, yeah.
It is weird bringing in a Florida State guy, though, to our team, I will say. And he was like a real player for them for a little second, too. So it's like, he really – but, hey, he earning his stripes. I give Staff credit, though. He don't even have a number right now. Like, on his jersey, he's just blank. Like,
well, technically, he was someone asked me about that in my private board, and they said, like, oh, what number is he wearing? I'm like, well, technically he was assigned 38, but he's not wearing any number out there.
Yeah, I think he's on like a prove it, like earn it type of thing. Where I think let's say going into fall camp, I think if he continues the path he's on, I think he'll earn like a selected number. He probably wants not saying it's a single digit or whatever, but I think he'll probably get a pick. But that's what it seems like, because there's no reason to have no number in spring practice unless it's
Let's see. Juan Manuel. JJ Dunnigan is naturally Jacoby Thomas' replacement. He is the perfect replacement for Thomas.
He's better, bro. Like, I'm just gonna just say it. He's better. Trust me. Like, yeah.
Like that.
Love Thomas and all that hit it, but this kid can do everything. So
let's see. Is Miami a top 5 team in terms of talent? Yeah, we answered that earlier. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, some of these I saw and I was just kind of like tagging them off a little bit. I was seeing.
Great corner. Can Miami have a top 10 offense and defense? I think that's very tough to do both at the same time.
Yeah.
It all depends on the pacing of the offense. Like if they're very up tempo, maybe.
That's literally what I was gonna say. If the offense is like literally scoring in 2-3 plays, or it just put the defense on the field a lot more, which, you know, they're obviously human out there. So we may end up, let's say, top 15 offense could be, you know, or top 20, top offense in the top 10. But I do, in my opinion, gut feeling, I feel like the defense will still be in the top 10. I think offense can get it down to like top 20, you know, top 20, top 15. I think
this is a good question for you, Aman. I think you would answer this better than me. Giovanni Kennedy from X, I've seen him on the X Spaces before. He said, Gio, why does the offense seem stalled at times? Why does the offense stall for long periods of time?
Unfortunately, I know as fans, like, we like to forget sometimes that all offenses do go 3 and out, and you're gonna have a missed drive or opportunity, right? That's just football. So I think sometimes like Miami fans almost like get too like they critique. Like we go 3 and out on the first drive, they're like, oh my gosh, here we go again. Like it's the first drive, bro. It's never gonna be like up and down the field. It's not Madden. But to answer your question, why we stall is because unfortunately there is 11 guys on the field, and if I'm being honest, for a play to work, all 11 guys literally have to execute the play perfectly every single time for the play to really work. Now, when I say work, I meant like big plays, right? Obviously, you can have a misassignment, still get 5 yards on a carry, and no one thinks of it. So my point is that, yeah, we do make mistakes on offense, whether it's a missed block or, you know, a quarterback gets sacked because, you know, a stunt up front, whatever the case may be, lineman slips, things happen, man. So I will say things that can help prevent that going forward is that we cannot be as predictable at times, and then point to the game, like the down and distance, we can't be predictable. If we can continue staying ahead of the chains, right, being in second and manageable, third and manageable, we'll keep the drives alive, and we won't stall out. I will say it seems like when we get to like the second, third quarter, that's when we started stalling, where I don't know what it was. Teams figuring out our game plan early on, whatever the case may be. In fourth quarter, we, usually turn it up a little bit and we finish a job. I would just like to see us be more consistent across 4 quarters. And I think the staff is probably saying that as well. It's hard to do unless you're, top 5 offense or something like that, which, we weren't obviously, but we have a capability. So I think this year we got to just put it together, get a little bit more creative, not as predictable, interchange of personnel groupings, right? I know we did it towards the end of the year. We saw a lot of plus Malley at slot, running back, quarterback, just different looks. Make them guess, make them wonder. But if you line up and run duo or whatever up the middle, it just becomes harder to execute those plays that are already hard to execute. You get me?
That's exactly why I deferred to him on. He answered that any way better than I ever would have.
Yeah, now we used to stall out too with Mark Rick, and like fans would be like upset, but I knew why we were doing it. It's just misassignments, few plays here and there, or team come out with a really good game plan and the shit you're running not working is just frustrating for everyone. So you just trust on your coaches to adapt and change, give you opportunity to make plays,
Hassan asked here, Gio, who's the redheaded defensive end? He was at the pool party. They had an interview with him, and he was talking great about Miami and might reclassify. You're talking about Asher Jodo from Jacksonville Bulls. Miami's been recruiting him for over like 2.5 years now. He's had an offer since he was a freshman. Yeah, reclassification is potentially on the table for him. I mentioned right before the pool party on Saturday as well that the other 2028 defensive end that was on campus as well, Jackson Vaughn from New Jersey, 5-star as well. It's on the table for him to reclassify. There's a ton of kids from the 2028 class that are like strongly considering reclassifying down a year, or some that already have, or obviously the biggest one people talk about, Amir Sears. That's inevitable. It's going to happen. But yeah, I do think Miami's class could be very special. And it's funny enough because I've said before, a couple months back, that I set the number I think Miami can land 4 or 5 stars minimum in this class. We'll see where they end up with, but I think they're on a very great track for it.
Yeah, and this is what we wanted when we talked about getting to the the playoffs and the natty. Like, this is what like the rewards you get for playing and winning big time games is big time recruits actually don't have to go commit to you off the one day we will get over the hump or all that stuff. It's like, no, you just seen it, bro. We're putting guys in the NFL. Ruben Bain going top 5, like Francis going top 5 or 10, whatever. Like, it's real now, and we remember what last year people was like, oh, Miami don't got that many draft picks or whatever. And we're like, bro, Mario's first class is actually draft eligible now. Like, I don't know where you guys are getting info. So now we about to start seeing the rewards of Mario's work, and he's gonna have his current guys. Now he don't have to talk about guys at Oregon and Sewell or whatever his name is, and Thibodeau or whatever. They don't have to bring up those guys no more. It's like,
yeah,
you got Ruben Bain, Francis, Keontae Scott. Like, you got current guys you can throw out there, and they've seen it. These recruits are watching it themselves. So I think the recruiting is just going to go up another notch. So could we finish number 1 class? Probably hard, but top 5 class, I think, is definitely another top 5 class coming through. So,
Amon, you always remember when I used to say that I felt Miami was like kind of stuck in tier 2 of recruiting.
Yeah. No, even on the video game,
everyone always asked that question, like, what do you think can change it? And I said, like, you have a big season, like you prove you can compete, like you make noise in the postseason. Yeah. I think we're seeing that take place right now. I honestly do believe so.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
D-Briz said, AR82 be Captain Obvious.
We were talking about my takes when I said I be on point with takes. First off, it don't be Captain Obvious because everyone be saying I'm being a fan. When I'm saying it, they be like, bro, AR, you just hyping, bro. You just being a fan, bro. Especially rivals, they be hating it. The whole time I'd be right. Their team, I told them about Lagway. I said, bro, Lagway, like he ain't that guy. Bro, what you mean? You would never be Lagway, bro. You're never Lagway, bro. He was this and that. And I'm like, bro, okay. Like, he came in, he won 7 games or 6 games, whatever it was, with no film. Like, come on, bro. Like, have we not seen this movie before? With our own team, with our own quarterback, have we not seen this movie before? Coming in for a few games, going crazy, and then the next year it is not as pretty. Like, I guess I'm just delusional, I guess. Or maybe
I will say, for the people that don't know AR very well, I've known him on for quite a few years now, and he's never lied.
I'm telling you, bro. Like,
I'm being honest. Just saying.
Like, I can understand if I'm just saying something off the wall. Like, let's say I said, Muhammad Touré going first round, or like, yeah. I'm not saying off the wall shit, bro. Like, I'm saying some pretty, at least in the ballpark. Like, I'm definitely within the ballpark. I may not be 100%. I might be 80 though.
No, but you're very close.
And I got another take, Gio. I got another take. I also said Tony Johnson, right, was going to be a good player for us, right?
He was. Until his injury.
He averaged 23 yards a catch, most on the team.
Yeah.
Obviously, something happened and he got nicked up, and then whatever, I don't know what the hell happened. He just disappeared.
Yeah.
Whatever, but I'm just going out. We're going out the stats. He was on his way to be a pretty solid receiver for us. He was making some pretty good catches, averaging 23 yards a catch. So I wasn't wrong. I would say I wasn't right, but I wasn't wrong.
Yeah, no.
Just wasn't proven right though. It's all good though.
There were some people that, like, before the season began, they like totally wrote him off. They're like, oh, hey,
He can't play here. That was that he can't play here, bro. Cincinnati, bro. Like, what do you? I'm like, dog. Y'all boys don't watch no film. Y'all just they don't watch no film. They just go off if the name sounds good or if he's from South Florida. That's it.
Yeah. Let's see here. We're right at the end. Jose Gonzalez. I saw a short clip on Heatherman's intensity, and I don't know why, but it's Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Geo Kane said offense and defense will be top 5. I don't know about that. That's
gonna be hard.
Super tough.
But I will say that I'm not gonna put it out because of our. If that's off regular season, right? It's possible.
I think he's talking about regular season. Yeah.
I'm not gonna. I mean, it's possible. I'm not gonna. I mean, it's extremely hard. But if Mensah can throw for 4,000 yards and Mark Fletcher can, run for a band and the defense can still be in that top 10, yeah. I mean, yeah. To the point, more turnovers, defense will be on the field, get more opportunity for interceptions, sacks, and kind of stockpile those numbers a little bit. It could be going to be really hard though to have both. I think you'll get more like one will be in the top 5 and the other one may be in like the top 15. That's kind of my realistic approach to it.
Yeah. Canes Jones, thank you as always for the love. He said, "What's up, fellas? I want that smoke. Go Canes." Thank you, Canes Jones, as always.
Canes Jones, man, the OG.
Also, we had I've never seen this guy on the show before, but absolutely thank you for the support. He said, "Love the show. Awesome." Alejandro Rotabio, thank you for stopping by, man. Thank you.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Howard Stern said, "Gio, who did Miami move the needle with this weekend after all these visits?" Tonight's not going to be about recruiting or whatnot, but talk a little bit more about it this week as the week progresses. But we're just strictly football tonight, just football, no recruiting stuff tonight. Howard Stern, Gio, did you tell Mario to have all the Venezuela and Colombian women as recruiting hosts? They are better than the Snow Bunnies.
He mustn't tell you the dark side of that, Gio. The death threats you may get in the.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, brother. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
The young guys ain't ready for that type of stuff.
Oh no. I said a funny comment in our group chat the other day. I knew you were dying of laughter when I said it. I said, "Yeah, I know you have Latino parents. They'll try to kill you for that."
Yeah, brother. Yeah, they're different.
Let's see. I have a question here. Anything on special teams? Only thing I could share about special teams, a couple of things here. Jake Weinberg, transfer from Florida State. He's got a leg. The other thing, special teams work in general, there's been a lot of emphasis on that early on, just procedural drills, stuff that they're really trying to emphasize and hammer down. That's been going on since the beginning of spring, since day one. Miami has a good year this year, and it goes deep in the playoffs. Do you see Shannon Dawson possibly leaving for a head coach job? Everyone brings this up every year, but I mean, look, Shannon Dawson's not going to jump at a job unless it's a really big one. I've said this over and over. Like the Rice job came up, and other jobs came up, and he never jumped at it. So,
would he go to like FAU? Is that like or he looking for more like a real?
I think more like a decently sized power forward, basically. Not like your Rices of the world, or
so. Like, can I say like a Colorado? Not saying Deion, just say like a Colorado.
I could see him jump at a job like that.
Kansas State type of, where they're not like a powerhouse, but they're like got funding, like they can put a respectable team out there year after year type of thing.
Look, let's put it in this perspective. Why would Shannon Dawson jump when he's got such a great machine going up? You have
he's getting paid.
Cam Ward to Carson Beck, to Darian Mensah. The offense is they've produced and everything. He has a really good situation at Miami. There's no need to jump unless there's a significant job that opens, and that's basically the stance. That's been the stance.
No state income tax, warm weather, not as much responsibility, right? You're the OC. You just doing your thing that you've been doing. You got your system in place. It works. Your recruiting is at a high level. You're bringing like more. I mean, why run from this? We're not like, and I get it. If we're going, let's say 75 every year or something, I can understand. But brother, we're progressing, and he's a big part of it as well. I mean, it's a win-win situation until you're like your point, until that big name job comes available. Then I can see him to your point, yeah, making that jump. But right now, what's the rush?
Exactly. Let's see. Oh, this is great. Possum Jenkins said, "Is Tony Johnson okay? Where is he? How Tony just disappeared and folks just stopped talking about him?" Left fellow.
Bro,
No comment.
I don't know. I guarantee, bro, something crazy had to happen. I don't know what it is, but he really went from playing and he had a good game to literally just not playing ever again. Like, done. I don't even know if he transferred, graduated. I don't even know. Like, it was just like he just vanished into thin air.
It's just a figment of everyone's imagination. Jack Jean, great show tonight. Thank you, Jack Jean, for stopping by. Possum Jenkins, death threat for dating white women. Hassan said here, Michigan is about to win the Natty in basketball. They're up by 9 with 1 minute and 45 seconds left, FYI. Yeah, by the way, thank you for everyone that stopped by. I looked at the numbers. We had like over 1,500 people stop by while the national championship's going on. Thank you.
Appreciate that, man.
You could be anywhere else in the world, but you stopped by to watch this.
Yeah, no, I appreciate y'all.
Findetta, how's the wide receiver room? Do we have a clear wide receiver one, or care they all are they all elite, or are they all elite? He said, really good wide receiver room, and Josh Moore just having the spring of his life right now to this point.
I got to take though, Gio.
What's up?
We have, in my opinion, we have about 3. Well, Cam Vaughn was wide receiver 1 for West Virginia. He's not on our team. Cooper Barkate was number 1 for Duke. He's on our team. Malachi Tony was our wide receiver 1 last year. He's back. So arguably we have 3 like legit number 1 receivers for like previous teams or our team that's currently on a roster. So to answer your question, I think the clear-cut like go-to guy is obviously Mally, right? Slot receiver, Dawson offense runs through the slot. But I don't want to say they're all elite. I say we have numerous number 1 receivers that would be number 1 receivers at other programs.
Yeah.
You know,
which raises the room tremendously.
Exactly. You know, and then, yeah, Josh Moore. I was gonna say Josh Moore is a number 1.
I agree.
I didn't go there yet. Is because he hasn't done it like for a full season, like some of the other guys have. But he has the ability to be a number 1 receiver for the University of Miami for sure.
Absolutely.
Like he's that talented.
Salute for Palm Beach County. Love the show. Go Canes.
Appreciate it, man. 561, man. You know how we do. A lot of talent out there. A lot of support. A lot of love. You know, I love my town, man.
Martin Dubé, I am anywhere in the world, Gio. Thank you for on my comment that I said, but you could be anywhere in the world. Martin is anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world. Oh, we traffic.
Yeah, no.
Gio, hey, Blake Toy, brother, you get traffic, brother? Hello.
Yeah.
Let's
all take a moment and think about what the GOAT did yesterday at the age of 41. Brian over MJ. This is the one part where you'll find me and debating forever. Like, I'm an MJ guy. Amon, you could tell him you're unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm a LeBron supporter till the day I take my last breath. Look, the way people watch NBA growing up, I watch LeBron. And you got to remember, also, I just want people to understand like why I'm such a big Bron fan. 2012, 2013, I was in high school, right? When I like really started watching basketball and enjoying. I was watching football, so that was a Heat time. I went to the playoff game, the winter game. They played the Pacers at home, so I experienced it in real time, like LeBron, like peak Bron. Then I go to Miami freshman year. I go crazy, but guess what happens? I watched LeBron come back down 3-1 against the Golden State Warriors, who was 73-9. I watched all that took place. Like, so it's like I watched such greatness and was doing some shit where it's like a moment in my life that it was just like uppity up. You feel me? Favorite player, greatest comeback of all time.
Ron, I called you LeBron, Amon. Everyone, you got people coming after you about the LeBron take over MJ.
Listen, brother. Everyone that's gonna say that, man, they're gonna be old heads, man. Listen, I get it though. Listen, in my opinion, my dad is a MJ fan. We argue about this shit all the time.
To the point where he be bringing up like, my brother, can we just talk about something else? Like, I'm not gonna be convinced. I don't want to convince you, but LeBron, to me, if we're going off basketball, is the greatest player of all time, and I think he's great at all aspects of the basketball game. We can say MJ was the better scorer, more aggressive player. He stuck his tongue out when I get it. It's cool, but like, I just think the way the game is elevated now, the big dunks, the reverse layups, and all that, like, I just think we see it more often today. Whereas back in the day, like, I don't think that was as common. That's why it was Air Jordan. He was high flying, but Ja Morant be doing some crazy shit. If he did that back in the day, y'all would probably be saying the same thing. But
oh no, don't compare.
I'm talking about the dunk packages, like where Ja be like high flying.
Yeah.
Like Ant Edwards, another one who can get above the rim. It's just like a lot of that plays into it. And I also think at that time, it's like
y'all got a great comment to this.
It's like y'all superhero. You feel me? Like, I get it. It's like you're Superman, bro. Like, you guys were young kids watching this man soar through the air like fucking Superman, and it was great. I can't change that feeling you guys had as young men and kids. Like, that's how I feel about LeBron. You see what I'm trying to say?
How do you explain me though? Because I'm like kind of smack dab in the middle of that. Look, I'm gonna be 33 in July. I'll be 33 in July. So I was a 90s baby.
Yeah.
I didn't get to see the Jordan stuff live. I was still like running around in diapers and stuff at the time.
But I got you though, Gio.
I watched all the, like, just all of it. It was just incredible.
I get you. Listen, what I'm saying is that the things I hear about LeBron and why people don't like him is because he doesn't he don't act like Jordan, right? People say, oh, LeBron like wasn't a better scorer, but then if you look up the like actual shooting percentages and shit, it proves otherwise. But then they'll be like, well, he was scared to take a shot, or JJ Barea. Like, we gonna go off 2 possessions of a whole 60-minute basketball game? Like, is that what we're gonna act like? Or we're gonna forget the very next year where he went and won the championship? I thought it was always about how you respond to adversity. Somehow his worst moment is they act like nothing else happened after that. Like, did he not go on a fucking 2-peat or 3-peat damn near? And then he went back home to Cleveland and won a shit. Then went to LA. Oh, he went there to play in movies. Went there, won a championship. So, like, every time, like, it just seems more of like theory than like facts, like, of what actually took place. Like, I think people forget, like, other people watch. Like, I watched the games too. Yes, he struggled in the 2011 finals. What happened 2012, 2013? I thought it was how you bounce back, Gio. I thought life was about how you get back up.
I'll say this.
I thought it was about how you respond.
Here's what will be my short-winded take on it. I have this strong belief. I've shared this with people. I'm an MJ guy. I'm an MJ over LeBron guy. However, here's my belief. I think when it comes to the NBA, I don't think there's one like definitive that you could like say forever, like for everyone's opinion that, oh, they're the absolute best player of all time. I think there's eras. I think there was the Magic and Bird era. I think there was the Jordan era. There was the Kobe era. There was the LeBron era, the Steph era, or even the Kareem era in the 70s. Just, I think it's very difficult to pinpoint down for sure, like an absolute one. But yeah, Michael Jordan was captivating. Absolutely. And you see it even watching the old videos and everything, just the way people reacted to him. I mean, it was back then in the 90s, it was Michael Jackson and Michael Jordan. It was the two MJs like that. They were it. Yeah. So that's just my belief. Look,
I get you. Look, I think it's an ongoing debate. It will forever be an argument, right? And I just think it comes down to preference and what people experience, whether like those moments, right? Whether you were a young kid, watching them grow, like fly through the sky, you want his shoes. Like, I get it. Same. It's like right now, someone tell me someone's better than Michael Jackson. Like, fuck out my face. Like, we not even like, what you talking about? You know, he may have more streams and all this, new age stuff, but I'm gonna forever love Michael Jackson because of what it meant to me. So it don't matter stats, none of that. So I get the people's argument where MJ's better. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not gonna say you shouldn't say that, but in my opinion, I think LeBron is the best basketball player to play on a basketball court. And I'm talking about from scoring, defense, assisting, like the full landscape, not just shooting the basketball over 3 people, not just dunking, like the full game. That's what it's about, in my opinion. So, but I get it though. I think that's why people talk about it every year, bro. People, you know how the needle moves, Gio, and I don't want to drag this, but the needle moves every year. Every year, LeBron goes win a championship, right? People automatically say, is he closer now to MJ? The next year he loses in the first round or something. He will never be MJ, man. He would never be it. Like, bro, it's like they trying to bring it close just to like keep going like this. Like, this is the argument. It goes here and it just every single year, Stephen A. Smith gonna head it every single time. Like, he just came out. If LeBron gets someone with the Lakers this year, he's 41, averaging 25, and I don't know. But then LeBron, let's say they lose, Luka, I heard they lose the finals this year or they don't make it. He would never be MJ. Never. Like, bro, you the one telling us he's on his way there. Then you turn around and say so. So a lot of stuff is just it's talking points. It's never ending. The debate will always exist. I think it's
It'll
just
always
fun.
be that way.
I think it's just fun argument, but LeBron the GOAT though. So
Michael Jordan. But that is one of the few things you'll ever find me and Amanda just varying vastly.
We'll never agree, Gio. Hey, we'll never agree on it, brother.
I've come to tell, like, I've even told Amanda, I'm like, brother, we'll just agree to disagree on that one.
We'll go on for days, bro. But he said, look, okay, last thing, Gio, before we get, I promise you. See, this is my point right here. MJ never lost the NBA championship. How many did LeBron lose? Did Michael Jordan play 6 seasons in the NBA? Yes or no? Did he only play 6 seasons or was it 15 years?
No, he did.
He was getting sent home for 9 years. Like, why do people only bring up that stat? He's lost in the first round before. He's lost in other rounds, but because he got to the championship and was playing these older washed teams and won, like, what about the years he got sent home in the first round? Oh, that was his 3rd year in the NBA. Okay. LeBron, same thing. He was on the Cavs getting beat by all these other teams that was fucking jealous of him and shit. Like, that's what it is. 6-0, cool, but then again, like I say, Michael Jordan don't got the most rings in NBA history. So I can't, like, we can't just use the only criteria that fits the narrative that he's the best at. He don't have the most rings. You can say 6-0, but he still don't got the most rings.
I like Kane's Jones' comment.
That's how you say it. Hey, but technically we both at 0, brother. Technically we both at 0, so
it was fun. This was great coming back again. I love the love and support from everyone as well. It's just a lot of people showed up to watch tonight. As you can all see, Amon,
me, bro. He left because he had gambling that he didn't lose because he was so bored of winning. Like, what do we? The narrative be killing me. These people think there's no YouTube or Google. Like, they think like somehow this story he telling me is just a fact, bro. MJ left and came back because the NBA made him leave. The nigga had a bad gambling problem. They said, you know what, brother, go play baseball and come back until this shit clear up. Then he came back. Like, what? He ain't just, they make it seem like he won 3 and was so bored to just keep winning that he was like, you know what? I'm going to go try to win a championship in baseball. Bro, that's not how it happened, fam. Oh, my God. But no, MJ not better. And like I said, you'll never convince me. But, yeah, we got to end this show because these people are crazy.
Oh, no, we could go on for a whole hour talking about.
Tag me on the timeline. Y'all want to continue this? Tag me on the timeline. We continue, man. Braun the GOAT. No one's ever came back 3-1 in a series in a championship. Talk about clutch. What about coming back down 3-1 in an NBA championship against the best team to ever touch a basketball court? How about that one? They had to go get Kevin Durant. Which is arguably the best shooter in the NBA, or scorer, I should say, at that time, to come save them because Braun was getting ready to go on a three-peat at Cleveland. And everyone knew it. Everyone knew it. It is close, bro. Y'all, it's not close because you say your mind is not close. Stats tell me otherwise. Oh, he played 25 years. All right, your boy should have laid off the damn coke. He probably would have played another 15 years. Look, it ain't their fault. Tell him to stay at the casino. He would have been in the gym. He probably would have played an extra 5-10 years. Whose fault is that? He thought retiring at 6 rings was gonna make him the GOAT. Then LeBron came in 3-1 finals. This man dropping a fucking documentary. Like, I see the agenda.
What, The Last Dance?
Yeah, that after the Lakers.
It was a great documentary, honestly.
But why the timing, bro? Come on, bro. He's
seen
the narrative spinning. Hey, Gio, he's a smart man. He saw that narrative starting to gain real traction. He said, "Nah, I gotta remind these motherfuckers. I was him."
That's what makes him the GOAT. That's what makes him the GOAT. But here's the thing: like, everyone listening or is still around, like, for the younger crowd, I know you get down with Amon. You know, he's a LeBron guy. For my older crowd, I know you get down with me because I'm an MJ guy. I think we got the best of both worlds here.
Yeah, LeBron James had never been accused of refs falsely stat padding him on steals either. By the way, that's all I gotta say. Not my GOAT. He may flop, but he ain't getting no fake stats though.
All righty, everyone. We're going to head up out of here. Thank you, everyone, for the love and support. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Shop at Caneswear, caneswear.com. You can also find them at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, Florida, if you live here in South Florida. Also, make sure to use the Caneswear app on the Apple and Google stores. There's exclusive discounts and offers on the app itself. We'll be back again very, very soon, me and Amon. Amon, any last thoughts?
Hey man, they said LeBron James need to go in multi-range chase for the I ain't gonna lie, man. Bron, man, he old right now, man. It's going. Hey, when he retire, I think everyone appreciate him more. But you know how it is when you're alive, man.
Yeah.
You know, people was fucking with Kobe, and then he passed away, and then everyone's like, "Oh, let's stop the debate." Remember this? Remember Kobe passed away, and everyone was like, "Let's stop debating the GOAT talk, man. Let's just enjoy it." And then fucking 3 years later, fuck LeBron. Look, he's a loser. Like, bro, y'all crazy, bro. LeBron's a
Oh, man.
You know, so it is what it is, man. I love it though, man. This is what sports about, man. This is what it's about.
All righty, everyone. We'll be back soon.
Rules, man.
Take care.
Oh, man.